love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up, it's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't be scared. Just level up. Don't be scared. I'm so gone, no I'm never turning back. I won't stop, I'ma fight until there's nothing left. It's so on, you're gonna be hurting bad, cause I've been to hell and back. You don't wanna make me mad, I stay strong, you will never see me crack. And if you get in my way, you're gonna feel the wrath. Gotta say it to my face while he's looking back. Mirror breaks after math, when I hate I attack. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't be scared. Just level up. Don't be love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up, it's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost.
Welcome in everybody to Fantasy Pros. This is the Week 9 live stream. It is me, Joe Pisapia. With me is my boy, D-Bro, rocking the best hat ever today. Blech. That's how people feel about some of the people we have to be starting this week, but that's okay. That's why we're here. We're here to help you set your lineups, have a little fun, talk a little football. What's better than that on a Sunday? I don't know. So let's just get right to it, D-Bro. It's good to see you, my friend. We're talking about warming up to certain things, and now with things getting warmer here in New Jersey in November, I don't know what that's all about. It's 78 degrees outside here. It's crazy. I hate it. You're wearing the winter hat. I'm wearing a short sleeve shirt under this because it's so damn hot up here. But are you feeling blah, or are you feeling good about some of the things that are happening here in the world of football in Week 9?
I had to come on here with the show for the hat, but I mean, come on. Here's the thing. I actually kind of feel good about this slate. I feel good about these games. I think we're getting some injury news and things that are shifting and stuff where I think we're going to get some big time games. Like we were just talking about it before. No Damian Harris. I think we get the week of Mondre Smash, Joe.
Yay, all the Mondre. I've got a lot of Mondre exposure. Let's get to your questions. And remember, everybody, if you've got questions, we've got answers. You've got to try a little tenderness. But you've got to also make sure you put your questions in the chat and be a subscriber of the show, because if you don't subscribe to the YouTube channel, I can't help you. You can't answer your questions. So don't forget, we like to give things away here. So the DK Metcalf autographed jersey from our friends at Pristine Auction is the giveaway, and we're going to be announcing the winner in the next hour. I believe Tara's taking us through to the next hour, so she's going to announce that. So this is your opportunity. This is your moment to get involved with that. So make sure you're a subscriber. Make sure you like the stream. Liking the stream is very important. And don't forget to leave a comment or a question below. And then you could win this amazing DK Metcalf jersey thanks to our good pals at Pristine Auction. D-Bro, no Jonathan Taylor this week. We know he's out. What does this mean for Deion Jackson? We already talked about Ramondre, but Deion Jackson has a good floor. I'm concerned about the ceiling, but no Nyheim Hines either. You got to imagine he's somebody you can run out there in a flex spot this week.
Oh, yeah. I think he's definitely flex worthy. I've got him as a low-end RB2. Checking my ranks right now, Joe. I got Deion Jackson hovering in the RB 16 to about 18 range.
I've got him at 18. That's where I've got him. Look at us. It
comes down to once you get past, I think, about RB 14, it gets dicey, Joe. Like, we're talking about, I've got Kenyon Drake up at RB 15. I've got Cordero Patterson at RB 16. Jamal is at RB 17. Like, it gets dicey fast, man, about like who we think is going to get the work out of these backfields, who's in a decent matchup. And I'm not telling you that like all of these guys don't have warts. Like, Deion's got warts, man. Like, is Ellinger going to feed him checkdowns in this game? Is that going to happen? We've seen the Patriots hold running backs to no touchdowns. So
we have, but I think you have to. If you're the Colts right now and you're going out there against this Patriots, Matthew Judon attack of a quarterback, the assault that's been going on here on a weekly basis, you better start dumping the ball off. Otherwise, you're going to get hammered. So, I mean, between him and Wise, I know Dietrich Wise is questionable in this game, but Judon's been just crushing guys. Like, you need Sam Ellinger to be upright. So you better dump off the football if you want to. What do you make of the DeAndre Swift situation too? This is the hot one that everybody's talking about. Do I play him? Do I not? He's limited. How much is he going to play? He's a guy that doesn't have to touch the football 20 times to be productive, but what's your threshold? What's your ranking? What's your thought process before we start getting to the questions out there?
I've got DeAndre Swift as an RB3. Now, here's the thing. He's either going to settle somewhere in this range. I look at DeAndre Swift as a boomer bust guy. Like, he's either going to – I'm either going to be a little bit ahead of consensus on where he finishes this week. I think he's either going to be an RB4, get no work, or he gets a touchdown, and he sneaks into RB2 territory. I'm kind of hedging my bets with that because we've seen this how many different times, Joe? Like, DeAndre Swift working off of like 5 to 10 touches, and – unless he breaks a long one for a touchdown, come on, Jamal Williams is the goal line back. So I can't push him any higher than RB3 range, considering all of these other running backs like that could get 10 to 15 touches, have pass game roles. Like, I would rather take a shot in the dark, and this is where I'm at this week with DeAndre Swift. I would rather take a shot in the dark with Jeff Wilson getting double-digit touches and double-digit touches and goal line work over playing Swift. But where do you sit?
I can understand that. I've got Swift at 20 right now. So he's right in that AJ Dillon conversation, which again, maybe you play Dillon over him. Tyler Algiers in that conversation. I think Kenyon Drake, Antonio Gibson. I think it all comes down to take the points and get out. This is my new thing. Take the points and get out. Leave the points. That's what you want to do. You want to make sure you get in a situation there where you're not abandoning all hope here with a guy that you're not sure what's going on. Now, look, you might not have a issue. Like you might be down to, I don't know, a situation where it's Jerick McKinnon or DeAndre Swift. Then I'm playing DeAndre Swift. Like those are the situations where James Robinson, like guys who are hurt, that kind of situation. That's where I'm at with those guys. But I think if you've got somebody that you can make a good case for, I would put him in there over Swift this week and see what you get. Again, it's not like you start Swift over anybody or sit him over everybody. Like, you just got to make sure that you have a good drop off of when that tier is. Let's get to your questions here. Let's start with Santana. Start one full PPR. And these are separate questions here. Deion Jackson, Algier, or Kirk?
I
go with Deion here. You're going with Kirk? Okay. Why Kirk?
Because I think the matchup is fantastic in the slot. I think that, also the Raiders are top 5 in passing touchdowns allowed. I think Kirk is Look, if you're in PPR and you want to shoot for the ceiling, I think it's possibly Dion, but I think there's a good floor ceiling combo to be had when talking about Christian Kirk. So give me Kirk.
The next part of this one was AJ Dillon, Algier, or Brian Robinson.
It's AJ Dillon. And I was curious. I was gonna piggyback on your Algier take there, Joe. So you don't think CPAT is gonna come back with Cordell Patterson coming back to a full workload?
I don't think he comes back for no full workload. No, I think he comes back
Okay.
and he's useful. I think he's right on that
Okay.
fringe. I've got him at 26 right now.
Okay.
Before I've saved the rankings here, but I'm just slightly skeptical. I want to see it first. I think that's kind of where I'm at. I just want to see it first. But we're definitely in that same range and that same discussion. And look, who knows? I feel like the range of outcomes with Patterson is a lot. Therefore, It's something that I'm very careful with playing. Once again, it's kind of like the DeAndre Swift stuff. If there's guys that I know who they are, and I've got Khalil Herbert, I know who he is. I'm going to start Khalil Herbert. Maybe it's not the greatest matchup. We'll find out. But the range of outcomes of maybe Patterson's ease back in, maybe he's everything, maybe he's not as much because some of the other running backs have done a pretty good job. A lot of different possibilities. I don't like that. I like things that I know what they are. Like, I know you're great. I invest in you. Let's go to Billy Boy. Help me defeat number one, please. Need as much upside as possible. So Likely or Gesicki in this one. I know you don't love tight ends against the New Orleans Saints, but does Gesicki even have enough upside here to entertain?
No, I think it's Likely.
Okay,
Gesicki, if we didn't have Dermot Smythe playing, then I would tell you Gesicki because I am not much on Likely, but the target volume that you're going to get out of Isaiah Likely puts his floor somewhere around Gesicki, but Gesicki doesn't have a ceiling.
Rondell Moore, Hunt, MVS, Swift, or Eno. So it's a flex and a half PPR. Please
Rondell.
And thank you.
Rondell or MVS is where I stand.
Yeah, I'm with Rondell too. Cody Schlott. Hola, Joey P. And it's not BPE this week. It's Derek Brown. So this must have happened before. Unless you've taken the throne of Big Pod Energy. Unless you're Blech Pod Energy.
I don't have that much energy. I can't.
Are you Blech Pod Energy today? Maybe that's what you are. Help me decide. Let's help Cody last flex spot. Full PPR. Romeo Dobbs with Lazard possibly out. Or your boy Terrace Marshall Jr. Thanks, gents.
Let's go Terrace, baby. I'm going Terrace. We talked about it on the matchup show. We talked about it on the start sit show. There's so many different ways the touchdowns can go for the Packers today, and I'm pulling on my ranks just to sit here and tell you the truth. I've got Terrace at wide receiver 32. I've got Dobbs at wide receiver 33. So let's go.
All right. I think it's a risky play, but I like your chutzpah. You know what chutzpah is? I know
you're gonna have to educate me, Joe.
Chutzpah. It's like you got a lot of gallones. You know, you got a little bit of confidence. That's what you got.
We're still going down this rabbit hole where you're mentioning things that I don't even know yet, Joe.
I know. It's the colloquialisms of living in the Northeast. Let's go to AJ Papa. Good morning, you two gentlemen. Happy Sunday. I just traded Jonathan Taylor and TJ Hawkinson for Kittle and Kenneth Walker. Congratulations, AJ. You're the big winner. Should I start Kenneth Walker over Deonta Foreman? Yes.
Yes.
I say yes.
You do that. Kenneth Walker.
You should be starting
K9.
Foreman too.
You should be starting both. The answer is not yes or no. The answer is both, sir. Both of them are RB1s. So
push him in. Push him in. Ricky Medeiros, a.k.a. Spanky. So, all right, Spanky. Let's go. Good morning.
Spanky, let's go.
I don't know how you got that nickname, Spanky. Good morning. Need one. Dion, Rondell Moore, or CPAT?
If you're shooting for total upside and you want to embrace volatility, it's Cordell Patterson. But I think that you have a mix of floor and ceiling with Rondell. I think Rondell is a safe play to get both. Go Rondell.
HH Volleyball. Need one flex PPR. Likely have Andrews or Allen Robinson MVS.
MVS.
I knew this was going to be your MVS take there. Hunter Van Dyke. Assuming James Conner is healthy, start him or Cordero Patterson, the half PPR. Now, here's where I'd start Patterson. Because Connor, even when he's been healthy, is a nothing. And Eno's floating around there too. He's got even more range of outcomes, and I haven't seen any good ones from Connor yet.
So it's two-part here. One, I believe that Patterson is going to get a full workload, and the matchup is smash-worthy. Two, if you look at what Seattle has done over the last 3 to 4 weeks, and I wrote this up in the primer, they have turned into, from a defense that we want to target with running backs, to a defense we're like, no. Like, they shut down Saquon Barkley when they play the Giants, if they could shut down Saquon Barkley, what do you think James Conner is going to do versus its defense? No.
All right, let's go to Hugo Velasquez. Hey guys, love the show. We love you, Hugo. Thanks for hanging out with us. Need help with one wide receiver, one flex. So here you go. Boyd, Godwin, Deion Jackson. You get a wide receiver and you get a flex spot. You go with the two wideouts?
I'm going to go two wideouts here. I think Boyd's a top 15 wide receiver for me. He's got the matchup in the slot versus the Panthers. I think and here's another piece of context here. I've got Boyd ranked over T. Higgins this week. Because I think T sees a lot of JC Horn. So, and I think Godwin smashes, man. He's due for touchdowns. So I love both those wide receivers.
You're gonna love this. You ready, D bro? You're gonna love this. This is right from the archives. New Chiefs wide receiver Kadarius Toney has recovered from the grade 2 hamstring pull he suffered in week 2, and he could have played for Kansas City even last week if he was a Kansas City Chief. But the bye week gave him one more week of health, and he will be active tonight against the Titans. Well, gosh, I'm just so grateful that he was able to get that healed right in time to become a Kansas City Chief and get back on the field. I mean, really, boy, we're so lucky, Kadarius. Really. I mean, D-Bro, imagine the luck and the timing of this. Just something. All right, let's get to Stan P. Can you feel the sarcasm, everybody? Because I'm laying it on pretty thick. Stan P. Hi, guys. Thanks for the great advice. Started the season 0-3, and then I signed up with FantasyPros and now 4-4. I mean, if that's not a promotion for the playbook, I don't know what is. Get out there right now. Download my playbook. Sync your teams. There's plenty of season left. There's a lot of tough season left. Get in there. Go to fantasypros.com/offers. Go sign up. Get the 6 free months of Fantasy Pros. It takes you through NFL, and then if you're playing baseball or something else, we'll help you there too. Go do it. Do it now. Check it out. Anyway, let's get to, again, fantasypros.com/myplaybook, or you can download the app at the Apple Store, the Android Store, the grocery store, any of those spots. Let's help Stan P out because Stan P is relevant again. Here we go. Half PPR. Start Pitts or Everett. I'm starting Everett. Your thoughts?
Yeah, go Everett.
Pick
two.
Wait.
What? Hold on. I thought you... I brain farted here. I thought it was...
You're playing Pitts over Everett this week?
Yes, I am playing Pitts over Everett.
I think Everett's a lock this week for a TD. I think he's a lock. Lock it up. All right, so we're not helping already. Pick 2, one wide receiver, one flex. Olave, Godwin, Mixon. What do you want to do here? I know you're playing Godwin. I don't have to ask you
I'm going
twice.
Godwin, and then
It's tough. This one's tough.
This one's tough. I'm going to go Olave. Give me the ceiling. Mixon has not shown any ceiling all year.
All right, there you go. Good luck there. Congratulations, by the way, Stan, too. Going 0-3. A lesser fantasy manager would have given up, but you did not. So we're very proud of you. Keep it real. David Bass. Hi, guys. Dylan or Pacheco. Standard with points for return yardage. That's
Dylan.
The rub.
Dylan
still. Okay, Cody Schlott. We did Cody's question already. Let's go to Jonathan. Jonathan Rand, pick 2, please. PPR, Jacobs, Lenny, Jamal, or Swift? Definitely Jacobs.
Jacobs and Lenny for me.
Jacobs and Lenny. Okay.
Yeah.
I agree for whatever that's worth. Daniel Bova, quick question, pros. Would you rather start Evan Ingram or Isaiah Likely 10-man PPR? Evan Ingram's a good safe start.
Ingram.
Let's not overthink things. Jordan Kerr, good day for football. I have Cordero Patterson and Curtis Samuel in a 10-man full PPR. What are you doing here?
I'm going Patterson.
That I can see Patterson because Samuel is a little bit more volatile. Roman Castro. Guys, Deion Jackson or Christian Kirk?
Kirk.
Xavier Rodriguez, Bills defense or Jets to start? Really?
I'm going Bills.
Gotta start the Bills. Look, the Jets defense is good. There's a
Jets
world.
defense is really good, and they're still a good play. Like I'll have them top 12, and I'm going to have exposure in DFS. But I mean, it's the Bills.
You have to play the Zach Wilson card. You have to. I mean, you have to. I mean, Gregory Rousseau should have a sack in this game.
When you can play a defense against Josh Rosen 2.0, you have to do it.
Well, and I know that. Look, that's funny. I don't even know if he's. Story for
that got podcast. You. That got you.
You caught me off guard with that one. I wasn't fully prepared for that one.
Nice.
But I feel like you've got it. Like there's at least one sack in there. There's at least one pick in there. There's potential for point total to be very sad. So you have to go with the Bills over it. Like you're not crazy for asking this question. I'm not going to bro you, Xavier, but
No.
you're on the bro borderline. Okay,
Oh,
and
that's not bro worthy.
it's
Come on, Joe.
it's broderline.
I like what you did there.
I like what I did there.
that got me on that one. I wasn't expecting that.
This is our job, everybody. How lucky are we? This is what we get to do. I love this. End of quote. Repeat the line. Okay, that's a hell of a screen name.
Nice. Like
Jacoby Myers or Josh Palmer with no Allen or Williams.
Myers. It's Myers.
I agree.
Baby.
It's still Myers. Caitlin Vlogs start Hawkinson or Hines or Dion.
Oof, Dion.
I agree. You take the volume there. I don't think we're going to see another 10 for 10 target game.
No.
But I think Dion's better than people realize, and I think there's a need for Dion. Like, you cannot just basic football look at the Pats and say, look, the best thing we could do is try to run the football on them and have some dump off quick passes. Like, Paris Campbell's in play. Michael Pittman Jr. is going to be a distant memory with Jack Jones today. Paris Campbell, that's how you work this. And you work it with Deion Jackson.
My whole thing is that, like, we have no idea what Hawkinson and Hines are going to do just getting traded to their teams. Hines is out there in the media talking about how rough the Bills playbook is, and as opposed to the Minnesota Vikings are like, Hawkinson's going to be a pivotal part of this offense this week.
I saw that.
Okay.
Well,
sure.
look.
Maybe in the red zone, but
Hawkinson getting a touchdown makes him a tight end one, but we're not talking about tight ends. We're talking about if he doesn't get that touchdown, like you were talking about points and floor, and Dion's going to touch the football more. Hines, I like this week. I think Hines is going to be a sneaky good play. I think you're going to see him line up in the slot. I think you're going to see him around the goal line. I think Hines is going to be used right away, and everyone's going to go, oh, God. The rest of the league's going to look at this and say, oh, no. Like another wrinkle in the Bills' offense. I'm telling you, it's coming.
Joe, I think your Hines love needs to get displaced and move over to El Jefe. I think that's where that love needs to go.
Oh, I think that El Jefe too. But I'm on Mostert ahead of El Jefe still this week.
That's fair. That's fair.
Just this week. After that, we'll see. And I'll tell you this right now. You want to talk about Salty Joe? Salty Joe Monday morning, if Jeff Wilson Jr. has 2 touchdowns in this game, it's gonna be real salty.
I'm ready. I'm ready for it. Let's fire up the show on Monday.
Because you know he's gonna be the number 1 waiver wire ad. Because what's his roster percentage now? I don't even know. Is it over 50?
It's gotta be low. I'll pull it up here.
I bet you it's not 50.
The next one.
What is it on Sleeper?
No, it's gonna be under 50.
What's it on Sleeper? I want to know. Before we get to Ray Green's question, did you type it in?
I'm looking. God,
you're so slow. I could do it and host the show at the same time.
Come on, old man, type it in.
Old man. Old man can do this before you can. And I got one hand.
I'm waiting. Beat me to the punch here.
God, you're the worst and simultaneously the best.
51%.
51%.
It's about
actually it's 50% on my Sleeper app. So
well, there we go. And see, you're coming in second place.
No, I'm coming in accurate place. Joe. Ray Green. Good morning, everyone. Need a win. Half PPR. Mooney, Rondale Moore, Michael Carter. I'm going Rondale. How about you?
Rondale. Yep.
Josh Knox, PPR. I have DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams, and Deion Jackson. Pick 1 to start at the flex position. It's a PPR. I go Deion and stay away from this. Deion. All right. Yep. I just, because I feel like anything you ask in Detroit's going to be wrong. You're going to hate your life. So don't do that. True. Alton Dodson. Good morning, guys. Would you trade Miles Sanders and Cortland Sutton for Jonathan Taylor and Devontae Smith? No. I don't want Jonathan Taylor.
No. I don't know if we see. I don't know if we see a healthy version of Jonathan Taylor for the rest of the year. Like he's kind of.
It's like Saquon 2 years ago.
Yeah, he's fallen into the bucket of DeAndre Swift. Like I don't know if we see healthy versions of either one of them.
I just did 2 hours of TV when we came and we had a long conversation about when guys get hurt now, especially anything ankle injury or anything foot injury. I'm out. I'm like that dealer in Vegas where where they hit the table and they do that thing where they show you your hands. What do they do? They do this.
Okay. Everybody, good luck. I'm going on break. Good luck.
Yeah.
I'm going on break.
that's yeah. Kofi Abasa, our good friend Kofi's always here in the chat every single Sunday. Should I bench Swift for Singletary? This one I say no. I don't like this one. I say no. And they've already got Jamal Williams as the flex. So you're in for a penny, in for a pound. You might as well ride it out.
Yeah, I would go with Swift for the ceiling on this one because I don't see it with Singletary. He's not going to get a touchdown today. It's the same thing you see every week from him: 12 touches for 50 yards and Huandon for touchdowns.
I love this. Sean Mailcoat. If that's his real name, that's awesome. That's Sean Mailcoat.
Sounds so formal. Like you need to run for office.
Sean
I love
Mailcoat.
that.
All right,
I'd vote
I approve this message.
Yes.
God, I can't wait till election day's over, so I stop getting emails and texts about the election.
Random
Love
text.
all the shows. Help you guys. Sean loves the show. We love your name, Sean. Full PPR flex position. Play Swift being limited or Dion.
Dion. Go with the volume.
The Bosun, good afternoon from Germany. All right, Bosun, let's go. I need your help. My wide receiver choice, DJ Moore, Pittman, or Kirk this week. Pick 2 for the full PPR. I'm going Moore and I'm going Kirk, and I'm not looking back.
Agreed. Agreed, sir.
Second Cup 2559. Hello, boys. Hope your day is going great. Love you both. We love you, Second Cup.
Oh, love you, Second Cup.
Give all love. Sadly, it's come to this. Zay Jones or Jarvis Landry in a standard league. Yikes. I'd rather play Khalif Raymond than either of these guys.
I would go Zay for this one, but honestly, I would rather play Terrace Marshall than both of these guys. So
I would rather play Terrace Marshall. Can you make a case for Landry here in this game against the Baltimore Ravens?
You can make a really good case for Landry. The problem with Landry is I don't know if Landry plays. And if he doesn't play, then you're stuck getting a goose egg. Because who else are you going to pick up? Like, the Ravens' entire second pass catchers are banged up. Like, I don't. Here's the thing.
Would you play Likely over them if it was just a flex spot?
No, I wouldn't play Likely.
Okay.
I'm not on Likely. And I talked about this on Twitter. I think it was last night. I was taking questions and stuff and talking to people about Likely. And there's a case to be had for the volume, but I keep religiously, no matter how you slice it up, you want to look at Likely as a slot wide receiver. Okay, the Saints are bottom 5 in slot and points allowed to slot wide receivers. Where they've been messed over is versus outside wide receivers. You want to play it like he's a tight end? Okay, they're a top 3 defense versus tight ends. They have allowed 0 touchdowns. So any way you slice it for Likely, he's likely going to disappoint you.
You've been waiting all morning for that, haven't you?
I have it written down.
Douglas Harvey, full PPR, Naeem Hines or AJ Dillon?
Dillon.
You still go Dillon here.
Yep.
But Shannon Blackburn, good morning, guys. PPR, flex, Garrett Wilson, Deion Jackson, Josh Palmer, Rondo Moore. You can only pick one of these guys? Ooh, this is a problem.
One in a PPR, I'm going Rondell.
I could see that. Also picked up Fields for Burrows by next week, but should I start Fields this week? Yeah, I'm okay with
Fields
that.
this week. Yep. I've got Fields as a top 5. No, I've got Fields at 6. I've got Fields over Lamar, Brady, Rodgers. I've got Burrow all the way at QB 11.
Mad Toker, what's up, guys? Trade question, Dynasty. I got Chubb, Stevenson, ATN, Walker, Najee Harris, Deonta Foreman, Breece Hall, and Elijah Mitchell on IR. I'm thinking of trading Walker for Jonathan Taylor. No.
Heck no.
No.
No. This is bro-worthy. No.
No, it's not bro-worthy because Jonathan Taylor was the 1-1 going into this year. And people are looking at it and saying, well, what about that's living in the past? Walker is as good. No.
K9 is
Elijah Mitchell because he means nothing now. Just trade him off to the person who has CMC and take a 4th-round pick.
Walker's got that dog in him, baby. No.
Now, I love all these guys. This is all great. No. Would you trade Najee Harris for Jonathan Taylor?
Oh, well, yeah. So another counter I think you could do with this one is if somebody's competing, take Najee and take Foreman, and then you go try to get Jonathan Taylor.
I think that's too much. I think it's too much.
How is it too much? Foreman's going to be a 0 after this year. He's going to be a free agent.
Yeah, but there's a lot of teams that are going to be looking for a thumper. He might be the hired gun 3 years in a row that goes around from team to team and just.
We talked about one team. What if he ends up on the Bills next year? That'd be pretty glorious.
I tell you, man, they get Deonta Foreman, physical back, running over people.
All the hopes that they had, they wish they would have gotten out of Zach Moss. Yeah.
Zach Moss.
You don't have to tell me. I was never a Zach Moss truther fan. I was fighting the Zach Moss truthers. So
I don't even know what those people are. It's like. Do you even do this? Like, do you even pay attention to this? Like, what? There's nothing to suggest that Zach Moss was ever going to do anything there. So many levels of wrong. All right, let's get to Tucker Cousins. Full PPR. Do I start Cordero Patterson, Lockett, or Jamal Williams in my flex?
You go Lockett. I think it's Lockett week, baby.
All right, Maxime LeBlanc. Good morning, guys. PPR league, RB spot, Khalil Herbert or Deion Jackson?
Deion.
I get it. The PPR format, especially, I get it.
Well, I mean, the other thing is
not
his
so
volume
much.
floor and ceiling are both higher.
No, I
than
mean, in
Khalil's.
PPR, Dion makes sense because Khalil's not going to catch the football probably.
No, he's
He
not.
should, but he won't.
He won't.
Jim Bob, non-PPR, pick one. Hilliard, Jeffrey Wilson, Abdullah, return yards count, or B-Rob.
Wilson. If you're playing non-PPR, if this was PPR, I would go Dontrell. Because I was going to say Dontrell Hilliard's actually ranked really high for me. I've got him at like I think
I like
RB
Hilliard, but I'm playing Jeff Wilson if I
27.
haven't. Yeah.
But I'm taking Hefe. You're playing for the touchdown.
Manny Silva III, full PPR, Patterson or Herbert.
Patterson.
Indiana X, full PPR, flex, Swift or Adam Thielen.
Ooh, Thielen.
Okay, Ernie Vasquez.
I'm out on Swift. That's what this comes down to.
That's fair. That's fair. Enrique Vasquez, the duo with the best hair in the business.
Better believe it.
Well, certainly good beards too, at least.
Oh,
I
yes.
mean, Debros is a little bit
You need
fuller.
to look. You need to go no
I
shave
can't-
November. You have to
I
go
can't
no
do
shave
that.
November.
I can't do
Why?
that.
Why can't you?
Because I just don't think
You'd
it's.
still be pretty enough for
think it's a-
TV, Joe. I hate to tell you.
I'm always pretty enough for TV. That's
I
not the
know.
problem.
This
the
might
problem,
help your ratings, sir.
I don't know. I just don't know if I could this whole thing, and then it's like I'm eating. It's like I don't know how you do this. I don't know how you
get
live
snacks
this lifestyle.
for later, sir. It's snacks for
Hmm.
later. That's all it is.
Devin Feiguth, start one.
just
Full
got Troy.
PPR. Eno Benjamin, Sony Michelle, Isaiah Pacheco, or pick up Hilliard off the waivers. So as a PPR, you go Eno, I'm not starting Sony Michelle.
No.
Isaiah Pacheco is fascinating. Hilliard off waivers, it depends on who you have to drop. I can only assume you're dropping Sony Michelle, I guess.
I would play
just go
Hilliard
Eno?
here. I would play
You want-
Hilliard.
Hilliard over Eno. I could see the
So,
Hilliard.
I think
situation
the
there.
matchup is terrible for the Cardinals' backs. We've seen Eno disappoint in this spot, and now if you're talking about Connor's going to be involved in the backfield as well, I'm going to go Hilliard. Especially with this being a PPR. Yeah, give me the target upside.
We need to acknowledge the loyalty of Jennifer Hafner, who's in here every single Sunday. She never misses a
Every
show. She asks a
Sunday.
question. She has good questions that help her and everybody else. So Jen, you're the best. Good morning, guys. I know Debro is high on McLaurin this week. Would you start him over Higgins or Olave?
Jen, come here. Listen to this. I've got Tera McLaurin at wide receiver 12 over both Higgins and Olave. Ride with F1. He's going to crush.
Wow. Why?
Because he's going to run.
I gotta ask.
52% of his routes against Cameron Dantzler, who has been god awful this year, runs a 4.6. You have the Vikings. Joe, how many teams have given up a higher explosive pass rate than the Vikings? It's a trick question, sir. 0. They're 32nd in the league. 32nd in the league. McLaurin is going to go nuclear today. Let's go.
All right. Very good. Let's move on to the next one here. Bruce Nowak. Help. I need one back, one receiver, full PPR. Cordero Patterson or Devin Singletary? Patterson. Terry McLaurin or Higgins? McLaurin. Okay, there you go. That was easy. Bumpy Devonshire. Hey, Fantasy Pros. Happy Sunday, gents. Big fan of the Great White North. Mike Gesicki or Julio Jones in the flex full PPR.
Oh, dear.
I think you play Julio. And you hope for the touchdown.
Yeah. And I love the screen name. It reminds me of it sounds like a Hobbit.
I know. Bumpy Devonshire, I'm almost positive was a Proudfoot. I'm almost positive.
Just waiting for second breakfast.
He also says, cheers, Debro and Joey. Crack the beers. JETS, Jets. Well, you better start early today. If you're a Jets fan. Yeah. Tailgating should start about,
maybe you can get blackout before they put Mike Wade in.
Now that we've answered your question, set your lineup and crack it open. Just enjoy the rest of the day. Who knows? Look, certainly we've seen a lot of games that were supposed to be blowouts. I mean, look, even the Texans, right? If this was in New York, I'd give it more of a shot. It's in Buffalo, so less of a shot. Austin Wilhelm, my opponent picked up the entire Bills team. Josh Allen, Devin Singletary, Hines, trade for Diggs, etc. Do you think that's a good strategy or no? I think it's a good strategy if you have the Bills. I think it's a good strategy this week.
Yeah. I mean, I think here's the thing. You invest in good offenses. I mean, how many times during every season do we see one offense support 2 top 12 wide receivers, one offense support 2 running backs in the top 24? I don't have a problem with it. If I'm not forcing it, but if it happens, sure.
I think what you do is you look at it and you say the things that you can count on. Now, Josh Allen and the target volume of Stephon Diggs is something you can count on. I think Hines as a flex guy is fine now in that offense. I wouldn't want to also have Devin Singletary on that team. See, that's where you start to cut your nose, bite your face. I think what you do is you can do the stacking in regular season. I mean, I've done it with a couple teams. I've done it with Kirk Cousins a lot because his draft value was free and Jefferson's was the opposite of free. So I have a lot of those two guys together. That's been fine. It's been getting me through. So I think you pick and choose. What you're doing with the quarterback and your wide receiver stacking is you're looking for the guys you know there's going to be 100 plus targets on the year. You know you're going to lock in that connectivity, and it's a prolific offense. That's when you do this. You don't just do it because you do it with knowledge and with draft value that's appropriate for the capital. But when you start to have too much exposure to the offense, that's where it goes in a bad direction. You know, you have to understand the identity of that offense too. The Bills are a pass first offense. That's fine. So that's okay to have Gabe Davis too. Like, that's fine. If he's your wide receiver 3. As your wide receiver 2, no bueno. Kenny who? PPR, Deion Jackson, Fournette, Deonta Foreman. Chris Jackson. Woo, I am for real. PPR league. I have Hawkinson at tight end, but would you start Likely, Mooney, or MVS, or Dobbs at the flex?
It's Mooney or MVS for me. And I think you can make similar cases for either one of them.
Yeah. Dr. Zadi 4K. Full PPR, Juwan Johnson or Logan Thomas? I think it's Juwan,
right? Yeah, it's no, wait. I think Adam Troutman is he playing today?
Oh, Adam Troutman. Oh, goodness gracious. Are we doing this?
He's going to cut into the routes, Joe. It matters. Cut into
the routes.
I'm going to go Logan Thomas.
The New York City Marathon was this weekend, too. Did he run there, too?
Oh, good Lord.
Scott Eisenberg, Tua or Burrow? I love how people still call him Burrows. Like,
Tua.
I love that, Scott. No S. It's just Joe Burrow. That's it. No Burrow.
Hey, I messed this up. Can I tell you how many Slack messages I get from Mike Mayer about it's Mike McDaniel, not Mike McDaniels?
That's a tricky one because because you got the two new coaches and one's McDaniel, one's McDaniels, and in your head you're always thinking, "Am I saying the right one?" But
in my head, I'm like, can't they just spell it the same?
Mike Mayer is just a taskmaster anyway. He's very rough, but he does do some good work though.
He's a beast.
Mike Mayer. He's a friend of mine, friend of the show, friend of ours, colleague here. He also is the person who runs the touchdown call contest. So if you want to have some fun this week, go get into it. We have the leaderboard here. Hart is 24K at 46 touchdowns now. Can Hart's be stopped? We don't know, but it doesn't matter because we're giving away weekly prizes too. $25 every single week to whoever calls the most touchdowns right to our Fantasy Pros shop. You can get hats, t-shirts, have some fun, call some touchdowns. There you go. Go check that bad boy out over on fantasypros.com/chat. Join our Discord. And remember the premium stuff we talked about? If you're a premium member, it's free to join. Go. It's a fun community. It's a great group of people. We have a great time on Discord. All right, let's get to... I always feel bad, though, for the Discord people who try to ask me questions on Sunday. I keep telling them.
Same.
You can't ask me questions on Sunday because I'm doing TV for 2 hours, then I'm doing this for 2 hours. I can't get there. So ask Erickson, ask Pat, ask Debro if he's off that week. Well, not off, but on the other thing, not on this. You know what I mean.
Yeah,
but on Saturday night, I'm out there Saturday night.
24/7, baby.
Sunday morning, they still ask me, I'm like, guys, I'm not available. I can't do it. Or be here. Madeline. Is it Madeline or Madeline? What do you think? Let's say Madeline. It's probably more Madeline.
Let's go Madeline.
You know Madeline? I'm going to say Madeline. Yeah. Morning, guys. Pick 2. Madeline or Madeline? No. Pick 2. Wide receiver, flex, full PPR, Pittman Jr., Gabe Davis, Rondo Moore, or Mostert. I like Mostert for sure today.
Then let's go with Mostert, Rondell.
Mostert, Rondell. That works for me. Yep. Russ Newland. I would be trading Michael Pittman Jr. right now. Today.
Yep.
If you can. Russ Newland. Good morning, guys. Do I start Deion Jackson or Tyler Boyd in the flex this week? Full PPR.
Boyd. I'm going Boyd.
Jay Hahn. Hey, pros. Thanks for your help this season. Pick 2, half PPR. Swift, Deion Jackson, C-Pat, and AJ Dillon.
I'm going Jackson and C-Pat on this one.
Okay. Crispy. Taysom, Moreau, or Conklin if Milano's out. Forget. I can't do Conklin here. And I can't do Moreau. It's Taysom Hill for me.
I'm gonna go Moreau.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm disappointed in you.
Why? Why?
We'll have
Why?
notes after the show.
Nah.
YT Koyal. There's an underscore somewhere in there. Amon-Ra St. Brown or Jacoby Myers. It's still Amon-Ra.
Sun God.
Yeah.
Sun God
Timothy
easy.
Donnell. Hi, fellas. Mr. Billy Bob here. Oh, Mr. Billy Bob. We know Mr. Billy Bob from Discord. See, our friends
Yes,
here.
see?
I know
Showing
Mr.
up.
Billy Bob.
Showing
Good people. Half PPR, need 2 RBs. Swift, Herbert, Jackson, or B-Rob.
Jackson and Herbert.
Agreed. Andrew Erickson truther.
Erickson's got a burner in the chat.
I know. Erickson can't set his own lineup.
It.
Thought you were a fantasy pro, Erickson. Montgomery or Palmer for the flex PPR. What do you got?
Go on Palmer.
There's no better Sunday morning set your lineup show than this one. I mean, I don't know what anybody else is doing on any other site. You should all be here at Fantasy Pros YouTube because we're giving you the stats, we're giving you the info, we're having fun.
Got burner counts. It's awesome.
Man. You got burner counts for Erickson. Like the stream right now. Do it. Drop a question. And if you are a subscriber to Fantasy Pros, you might just win today. We're giving away the DK Metcalf jersey. Somebody got mad because last week we gave away a jersey and I was a little slow because of Halloween. I didn't get to forward the information along and people thought we weren't giving away things. We are. Sometimes I'm the person going to UPS doing it. So I assure you, we're giving these things away. Don't believe the trolls. DK Metcalf's latest one. Drop a comment, a question in the chat. Like the stream. Click that little bell till it goes ding for notifications, and you might just win this DK Metcalf autographed jersey from pristineauction.com. Later today, we're giving this away. It's a nice one, too. It's a good jersey. All right, let's see. We helped Billy Bob out. We have Erickson. How about Dre West? Elijah Moore or Khalif Raymond, half PPR, need to start one. I'm going Khalif Raymond here.
I'm going to go with the wide receiver that's actually going to see the field. Give me Khalif Raymond.
Yes. Pat Klitschik. What's up, guys? Jamal Williams or DeAndre Swift? Standard league. Ken Walker's my other RB. In a standard, I think this is easy. You just play Williams and hope, right?
You play Williams because he gets the goal line totes. Easy.
We talked on before earlier about if Jeffrey Wilson has 2 touchdowns, I'm going to be salty. If the Lions beat the Packers, I'm going to be giddy. Monday morning show is going to be I am going to be, and not only that, on BP, on the Betting Pro side, we do a look ahead show every week with Pat. Pat is going to be miserable, and I'm going to be giddy if that happens. That is also must see YouTube right now. Make sure you subscribe to the Betting Pros channel too. Ooh, that's going to be a fun show. Let's go to the Monkey Jockey. Good evening from Germany. Would you start DeAndre Swift over one of these guys full PPR? DJ Moore, Mostert, or Hopkins, T. Higgins? No. You're good, Monkey. Stay the course. Stay true.
We're worldwide, Joe. Germany checking in.
I know we're huge in Germany. We're huge in Germany. We're very big in Germany. We're very big in Canada.
This is either dropped in Discord or one of these chats recently. Somebody came up with the idea we need to get a map and start like tracking all the countries we get shout outs on these shows. And I'm like, I like that. Yeah. Gotta do that.
I'm all for worldwide. Jeff Blackburn, good morning, gentlemen. I need 1 RB, 1 flex, half PPR. Huntley, Robinson, Drake London, Marshall, Carter, Pierce. I think it's B-Rob, and I think it's your boy Marshall, probably. I get 1 safe and 1 fun. That's how I would play this.
B-Rob and Marshall.
B-Rob and Marshall.
All those. I felt a lot better about Huntley before CPAT was back, and all those.
And London now is in question too. Like, I don't know. It's very hard to, I'm buying Drake London everywhere now, though.
Yeah. I mean, keeper
leagues and dynasty leagues. Oh, it's magnificent. I knew if I was just patient, I would get it cheaper. And I am so much Drake London. Felipe Perez, Garrett Wilson, or Mooney, and then Pitts and then Pitts or Swift. I don't know how we got to the Pitts or Swift situation. Flex. Let's do that one first.
I'm going Pitts.
Okay. Garrett Wilson or Mooney?
I
like Wilson here.
They're in the same kind of tier. I'm going to consult the ranks, so I'm not lying to you. I'm going Mooney.
All right.
I'm going Mooney.
Mooney's probably the safer play. But my gut's telling me Wilson here.
I've got Mooney as wide receiver 24. Wilson's at 29.
It's fair. What over under like 2.5 quarters of Zach Wilson today. Over under. Do we get to see?
Under.
That's good for Garrett Wilson.
Mike White makes an appearance
Oh.
after. We'll go 1.5 quarters.
If you know what Mike White needs, he needs he needs Seven Nation Army from the White Stripes to play when he takes the field. I want that. I just want to hear that dun 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 dun. And it goes Mike White running out. Dun, dun. That'd be so good.
Running out the tunnel.
Everybody chants, oh, 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 oh. It'd be so much fun. Let's go to Robert Lavelle. Robert, also a good friend of the show. Who would you start in PPR, Cordero Patterson or Josh Palmer? And who would you start in tight end, Likely or Robert Tonyan? Well, I know Debro's going to say Tonyan on that one, yes?
Yep.
Love Tonyan this week.
CPAT. Yeah, I love Tonyan this week. He's going to crush. I've got
CPAT and Tonyan.
Tonyan is up to tight end 4 for the week.
Chris Pena, which DST, Vikings or Chiefs?
Chiefs.
Yes, Chiefs. Agreed. Fantasy Life, sit 1, Henry, Mondre, Walker III, ATN.
Oh, good Lord. These are good problems to have. Oh, man. Whew.
I think you have to sit ATN.
I think it's between ETN and Henry.
I know, and that's
I'm
what I was
gonna go
thinking.
ETN because this is half PPR. If this is full PPR, I'd be going ETN over.
I can't take Henry out. I just can't do it.
No, he's gonna get the volume, and he's a better bet for a touchdown.
Anuj Patel, should I drop Gallup for Deontay Johnson? Yes. I like the Steelers coming out of the bye. I'm telling everybody. Steelers coming out of the bye.
I know you and your Kenny Pickett love.
Plucky. Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pluckett. I'm going to call him Pluckett from now on because he's plucky.
I mean, he needs some kind of swaggy nickname. Something's got to get him going because it surely isn't happening right now.
Yeah. Kyle McKenzie, Waddle or St. Brown in the PPR? It's always Waddle for me. I'm a Waddle dude.
Sun God. One Sun God.
Sacrilege. The Mac, Duvernay or Palmer, and Conklin or Likely. Full point PPR. So Palmer in the full point PPR for Duvernay.
Palmer, right? And we're going Likely.
Okay. Yeah. The Jenny Chan, Fantasy Pros, great show. Joe, start 2. Oh, see, they just want me. Start 2. See, it's because my beard is more trim than yours.
Fine,
start 2.5.
I'm going to sit back. You go ahead. And
Monty, Herbert, Deion Jackson, and Cordero Patterson. I'm going to play Herbert, and I'm going to play Deion Jackson. I'm going to wait and see with Cordero one more week. That's how I'm going to play this one personally. Give me a little 15 for 70 with a touchdown from Khalil Herbert. Give me the Deion Jackson, and I want to wait and see how healthy Patterson really, truly is. All right, now you can go back on the show.
Oh, okay. Just I was waiting. I was waiting for my.
Now I've got to really look at this one closely here. Harivalaba Raparla. I think people just do this just to see if I will say it. And I know Troy picks them just to hear me say these things. So Troy,
silent consonants and all kinds of things. We got
Harivalaba. How about you know it? Now we're back to Dr. Evil.
Yeah, I know.
How about you know
like
it? Pick 2, PPR, Deion Jackson, Tyler Boyd, Josh Palmer, Deonta Foreman, DeAndre Swift. Well, Foreman's in.
Foreman and
Boyd.
And I'm going to go Boyd. Yeah.
Jen Richards, Swift issues, PPR, pivot to Carter. I assume Michael, not DeAndre. Brian Robinson or Hilliard.
Michael.
Oh, Mike, you can play Michael Carter here.
Yeah, I would go Michael Carter. I would go Michael Carter over Swift. I would even play Hilliard over Swift. It's full.
I'd probably play Swift and hope for the best, but Debro's probably taking the safer route. I thought you were Mr. GPP, bro. I thought you were Mr. Fast and Loose.
I'm also
Mr.
Gunslinger. We've done seen it, Joe. We've seen this play out with Swift. The head coach literally
you just
came out.
Joe me? I've seen it, Joe.
I've seen it. I have seen it. This head coach came out and said we gave him too much work when he didn't even get double-digit carries, Joe. Like,
I don't believe a thing out of Dan Campbell's mouth anyway. No matter what. Maeda. PPR flex, Damian Harris or DeAndre Carter?
It's Harris not playing, so you know.
Yeah. Well, is he officially out?
He is unlikely to play.
Yeah, I didn't hear the official out yet.
He has not been. Hold on, I'm checking the news. The wire.
No, because I would have been updated on my Playbook app if he was officially out by now. That's why I have the My Playbook app, which is available on the Apple Store or Google Play. You can get it over there. It's free. FantasyPros.com/MyPlaybook. Check that bad boy out. Sync your teams. Fantasy better. Go dominate your leagues. Let's go to Fast Eddie. Ertz or Ingram in a full PPR? Ertz. Patterson value today.
RB2. I think he's an RB2 with upside.
All right. The High Talks Sports Podcast wants to know 10-team PPR flex spot out of Deion Jackson or Tyler Boyd.
Oof. Jackson floor, Boyd ceiling. I'm going Boyd.
I'm taking the floor with Deion. Take the points. Take the points.
Taking the points with Boyd. He's going to get more of them.
Take the points. Leave the cannolis. It's like the opposite of The Godfather. Sam Greenberg, PPR, 1 start. Kirk, Juju, Rondell Moore. You're going to hate me. I think you got to play Juju and keep seeing if this is what's happened here.
I mean,
1's a fluke, 2's a trend.
They're all in the same kind of area for me.
I love the Chiefs off a bye. They're so good. Andy Reid with extra time is always so good.
I'm trying to see where I actually agree with you, Joe. I've got Juju up at wide receiver 19.
Of course, it's the right call. Of course, you agree.
Yeah, of course.
Dominic Garatano. Hey, yo, dude, what's going on? Full PPR. Higbee or likely a tight end. And in the flex, Drake, Juju, or Gabe Davis. How you doing?
I was going to say, like, you kind of like faltered.
Well, he says, hey, yo, dude, full PPR.
I know, but you faltered. You kind of tailed off at the end.
I didn't tape. I just, he was unsure. So Higbee or likely, I go Higbee. Yes.
Higbee. Yep.
And then Drake, Juju, Gabe Davis. I think Juju's your floor here.
Juju. You go Juju.
Yeah,
I've got Gabe Davis as a low end 2, high end 3. I'm not feeling Gabe Davis this week.
Foolish TV. This might be a foolish question. DK Metcalf or Devin Duvernay?
This is a foolish question. Metcalf.
Bro.
I mean, this would be like closer if we saw Metcalf limited because of the knee last week. That didn't happen. So,
bro,
going Metcalf.
Just because everybody's out for Baltimore doesn't make Devin Duvernay DK Metcalf, bro.
It doesn't make Devin Duvernay good at football,
bro. No.
Yeah.
No. It's DK. Brandon Allo. Aloha and good morning, fellas. Full PPR. Aloha, Devin Duvernay or Christian Kirk?
Kirk.
Nyheim Hines or Rashad White? Why does everybody love Rashad White this week?
I don't love him, but I know what his role is.
People do, and I don't. Taking Nyheim Hines. I'm taking the new toy.
I mean, if you want to shoot, if you need the upside, I don't mind the shot in the dark with Hines. I really don't. Because you know what you're going to get out of Rashad White.
I think he has more touchdown equity than, first of all, he's got more touchdown equity than Rashad White. And he probably has as many targets as Rashad White this week.
That's fair. That's fair. I have no problem taking the shot in the dark with the Hines. By the way, love the Dr. Evil. Love that.
Yes,
I love
Brandon
that
enjoyed Dr. Evil last night. A lot of people like the Doctor.
As he should.
People
were a chameleon,
just did it on the podcast. I did it here for 90 straight minutes the day before. And then I did another. People need
to go back and check that out because the fact of you serenading Erickson in the voice of Dr. Evil.
Me singing Courtney Love songs to Erickson in Dr. Evil voice was one of the great moments this show has ever had. I'm not going to lie. It just is.
Legend mode.
Prab Jill or Gil. I don't know. It's getting late.
You need to get a cameo.
Half PPR, Jacoby Myers, DJ Moore, or Gabe Davis. This is a tricky one. I think it's DJ Moore and Myers. You just lock in the points, right?
Myers and
Gabe
DJ
Davis
Moore.
Is so tantalizing, but I think you just lock in the points there.
You need to get a Cameo account, Joe, and then you could sit here and answer everybody's fantasy questions as Dr. Evil.
No one's paying for that.
That's how you fix. No, that's how you become the millionaire, Joe. That's how you become.
Is that the path? Oh, I didn't realize that was the path. Okay.
Just saying.
That's you know what? I will say this though. I would do cameos as Dr. Evil to crap on other people's fantasy teams for you.
I know. That's the path. It's the path.
That'd be pretty funny. Now the problem is I've set the bar so high, everything's gonna be a letdown next year. You know. Although there's a part of me that these will be fun if all three of us dressed up as each other. That would be fun. And all did impersonations of each other.
I have too much facial hair and Erickson can't grow it, so you would have to be Erickson and Erickson would have to be you.
See, I would want to play you because you're the more fun character. But I could play Erickson. Challenge accepted. I could do it.
This is
Omar Salam. Deshaun Jackson, DeAndre Carter, Terrace Marshall, or Rondell Moore. Ooh, some of your favorite things. I think it's Moore, isn't it?
Take me through this again. I'm still reeling about you
Deshaun
playing.
Jackson, no. DeAndre Carter,
No.
no. Terrace Marshall,
No.
maybe. Rondell Moore, yes.
Go Rondell.
Yes. And he says, help a blech out. That's
yeah, let's go.
Showtime. See, you people get us. That's why you're here. Showtime.
it.
PPR, one flex spot. Mooney or Khalil Herbert? Khalil.
Mooney. To the moon.
What?
To
How
the
can
Mooney.
you go Mooney? You don't know what's going there. You could have 2
the
targets
Mooney.
for all we know.
No, he's not.
Ben Denard.
He could have 12 targets for all you know, Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ben Denard. Swift. I don't know if he throws the ball 12 times to Ben Denard. Swift, AJ Dillon, Kenyon Drake in the PPR.
Sacrilege. Kenyon Drake.
Yep. Abel. I'm glad you said that. I know it hurt you deep inside, but you're right.
It did.
Abel C, Isaiah Likely or Hayden Hurst?
Hurst.
Kevin
Fontenot.
Fontenot.
Likely, man. Just not.
No, you're right. They're very good against tight ends, and that's a tough spot. Now, if they line them up in the slot a little bit, and I think they'll do that. I think you're going to get Likely moving around the field, which is
still good
smart.
versus the slot. So
fair. Good morning, gents. How are we feeling about Swift and Jamal Williams? Start one or none or both?
Start Jamal.
Yeah, it feels like you could start Jamal with some sort of confidence at least.
Yeah.
He's already got Ramondre, Deonta Foreman, Dion, and Pittman, so I could play around with the PPR and 2 flex spots. I mean, if you could avoid it altogether, I would play them over
Jamal
Pittman.
over Pittman. Jamal over Pittman, and I would keep it the rest of it the same.
Pittman's a hard sell this week. And if he has a good game.
And who dat, baby? We got a Saints fan in the house. Yes.
Oh, where is this? What are you looking at?
Right at the end of
there was a hoot at the end. I'm sorry.
I was
already on to Wallop's question.
You weren't even gonna mention it.
I'm a
now,
man
if
of
it
the
would have
people.
said "Go Pats," Joe would have been all over it.
No, that's my bad. Hoot at. Okay.
Yeah.
What is the origin of the hoot at, and how is it different from the hoot a?
I don't, because the Houdat is not even real, man. That's just building off a Houdat. The Houdat is the real nation. Just we're gonna put that out there. And Kevin knows. Kevin, you know what
that was the worst answer I've ever heard. It's not, but what does Houdat mean?
You must be new around here, Joe, because I've had worse ones than that. Come on.
What's the Houdat? And why is it different or better than the Houdat?
Joe, you're gonna make me thread this on Twitter.
You're
gonna make
weren't
me
the Bengals around before the Saints? Pretty sure they were.
No. Okay,
yes, they were. Because when Paul Brown left the Browns to go start the Bengals, they were around before the Saints.
When did they start? All right, we're going to have to get back in the lineage of this. When did they start saying Houdat?
I love
okay? Gonna have to get... Now this is where...
Now he's going to be Googling all afternoon, sending me links. Wallop, half PPR, Rondell Moore or Josh Palmer? This one's tricky here. Rondell Moore or Josh Palmer?
Rondell Moore.
Mystic 6. Good morning. Pick 2 Standard League. Algier, Dylan, Palmer, Michael Carter. It's Dylan and Palmer for me.
I'm going Dylan and Palmer.
Okay. Jersey City 99. Half PPR, 1 wide receiver, 1 RB, and a flex. Pittman, DJ Moore. DJ Moore's in. Foreman's in.
Yep.
And then Lockett's in. Those are my 3 here. And we're just avoiding Detroit.
Agreed.
Kim Carpio. Dobbs or Pitts in the flex?
I'm going Pitts.
Are you going Pitts if Lazard is out?
So we're waiting. So
I want to give her context.
I would go Dobbs if Lazard is out.
I agree. If wait, here we go.
I see Watson is active.
I just saw Christian Watson is active now.
I don't see Lazard. I'm going back and checking.
But yeah, I think that's the way you play it. Parkman 253, Olave or Deion Jackson at the flex.
It's Olave. You're going with the ball.
Will Moe, half PPR, Mooney or Pittman. My opponent is starting Fields at QB. Love you guys. We love you, Willie. Mooney, yeah.
Mooney.
Yeah, you can't. Pittman's a tough sell this week. Low Cruz, Isaiah Likely or Higbee. It's Higbee. Rich Johnson, full point PPR. Gibson as a second RB. Lazard is a third wide receiver. Already have Olave in my flex. I don't quite understand this question. Look, Lazard might not be an issue, so you're going to have to play Gibson. It's a strangely worded question. I want to help you, Rich. Phrasing is important. Derek Langley, Myers or Kirk in the full PPR?
Myers. Jacoby Myers is a stud.
Myers is...
He's such a freaking stud, and nobody's still...
Here's some fun. Ready? Myers has played 6 games. Don't look. What's his rank overall in the year half PPR? What do you think it is? Wide receiver what?
He's wide receiver 17 or 18.
No, not quite that high. Not
Jacoby?
in points per game overall.
Oh, overall, probably like 32.
28.
Okay. Yep.
Which is stunning because he's missed 3 games. So just putting that out there, like that's how good the dude's been. Now, from the points per game, yes, you're even more correct if that's possible.
Yeah, points per game, he's a top 20 wide receiver.
Yeah. Antius Bedrine. Oh, you got news?
To update some news, DeAndre Swift is active. For all the Zach Moss truthers, he is not playing today, so, sadly. Josh Reynolds is inactive, too.
Yeah, we knew that was happening.
Darren Waller is out. That was projected to happen, so, that's all I got for right now.
All right, that's good. Breaking news, Derek Brown. Antius Venderin, Burrow or Fields? I'm playing Fields.
Fields.
Henry DeWald, Moore or Connor? Again, look, you got to be specifics with your Moores and your Johnsons.
I mean, unless we're talking about Elijah or Sky, if this is Rondell or DJ, I'm going both of them happily over Connor.
You have to be more and more specific. Omar Salam. I think we helped Omar already. Let's go do Jason Bear, Dylan or Robinson.
By the way, Alan Lazard is active.
Ooh, well, look at that. Yep. Now I've got some conundrums. I was hoping he would just be out so I couldn't be miserable, but no. Now I'm going to have to be miserable and make a decision I'm going to regret probably. Because now I have a decision. You ready for this? Here you go. Help Joe Pisapia, 17. I've got to play either Khalif Raymond, DeAndre Swift, or Alan Lazard.
You play Lazard.
I agree.
He's the best chance for a touchdown. Even if he plays limited snaps, he's still going to get red zone work. So I play Lazard and just hope for the touchdown.
All right, let's go to Armadillo Racetrack, which sounds like a fun place to go.
That's a nice name.
Alec Pierce or Robert Woods?
Pierce. Woods is dead to me.
DTM. Mr. Darboom in last place. Need to pick 2 full PPR. Lockett, Gabe Davis, Godwin, Olave, and Jacoby.
Lockett and Godwin.
Okay, I agree. Willie Moe, Willie Moe back again? Different question. Tanyan or Everett?
Tanyan.
And Mooney or Pittman?
Mooney.
Okay. Must Love Labs. I have Swift, Algier, Brian Robinson, Jeff Wilson, and I need to start 2. It's rough. Please help. Half PPR. Thanks, guys.
I'm going, first of all, Jeff Wilson is a lock. I'd be playing him. And this comes down to what do you think about the Falcons backfield? I'm lower. I think Joe is going to swing for Tyler Algier here. I'm lower on him. So I'd play
Swift.
I would go Swift. I would go the upside of Swift, and I would go Jeff Wilson.
I've got him back to back in my rankings, but I literally just changed them and flip-flopped them when Swift was playing. So, and Josh Reynolds officially being out is no surprise. I mean, you had to see that one coming a mile away. Let's get to the next question here. We have Mitchell Bloch. I have a surplus of RBs. Should I bench Ken Walker, Alvin Kamara, Dalvin Cook, and Stevenson? No, what? You have to get as many of these guys in as you can. So Ken Walker is in. Stevenson's in. Let's say you've only got room for one more. Is it Kamara or is it Cook?
I'm looking at my ranks right now. Stevenson in. Walker's in. I'm looking at Kamara or Cook. I'm going to go Alvin Kamara over Cook on this one.
I would contemplate dealing Kamara for a wide receiver.
Yep.
Because you have enough RBs to get it done. So I would think about that, especially off that huge game last week. And with the tape coming out.
I think you're looking at, for this one, the worst RB matchup on the board for all of those guys is Dalvin Cook. Washington's been shut down. I think if the Vikings want to move the ball, it's going to be through the air this week. So I think it's going to be a big Jefferson game.
I hope so. Let me tell you, we're waiting for some more touchdowns. Come on.
DFS lineup. The regression hits this week, Joe. Regression and touchdowns.
Matt Collinge, I need to win. Well, you need to win every week.
Yeah.
PPR, 3 and 5 this year. Should I trade away Kelsey, Walker, Deion Jackson for Mike Evans, Keenan Allen, and Hawkinson? No. Also have Cordero Patterson, Ezekiel Elliott, and Aaron Jones. Well, look, you're playing Aaron Jones this week. You're playing Kelsey. You're playing Walker. You're playing Deion. That's it. You don't want any part of Keenan Allen. You might not see him again all year.
No.
And
Mike Evans getting worked in, and Mike Evans is banged up.
Oh,
no, this is
don't do that trade.
You auto deny this trade, and you
no
text them back and say, "What was that?"
No. Andrew Nets. Top of the morning to you. Juju or Cordero half PPRs? Juju. Brian's dream. Need a tight end. Flex PPR. Hayden Hurst or Evan Ingram in tight end?
I'm going to go. I have them back to back in ranks, and I'm actually going to flip this right now live on the show. I'm going Evan Ingram.
Me too. Gabe Davis, DeAndre Carter, or Drake London? I'm going to Gabe Davis there. That's where I'm going Gabe Davis. Play the total, play the quarterback. Come on.
Roll them out for me again, Joe.
Gabe Davis, DeAndre Carter, and Drake London.
I see it now. Yeah, it's Gabe. I was looking to see
Mike, is it Michael or Michael? I don't know. Michael Busborg, Johansson,
Mikhail?
Taysom Hill, or Everett?
Everett.
Parkman 253, Olave or Deion Jackson?
Olave.
Diddley squat, Lazard, Myers, or Josh Palmer at wide receiver?
That got me. Jacoby.
Jesse Allman, half PPR, 1 RB, 1 wide receiver. Swift, Dillon, Olave, Moore.
So give me whichever Moore you're talking about. I'll still take either one of them. And I'm going to go Dillon.
Sounds about right. Jesus Villegas, Gibson or Curtis Samuel?
Gibson.
Tammy McLeod, happy Sunday, guys. Full PPR, Pitts or Higbee for tight end?
Pitts.
And then Duvernay, Garrett Wilson, or Mooney at the flex?
To the Mooney.
Perry Cottingham. How worried should Kamara owners be? Let's talk about this for a second. I've watched this video at least 8 times, and maybe I'm just old. I have a hard time figuring out what the hell is going on. I don't think there's going to be anything going on this season.
I don't think there's anything that's going to happen this season. I think
there will be something.
There will be something, but you're not worried about this season. I think you're worried about next season. I think that ship has already sailed. So
Perry it's just so hard to I see. Like it wasn't like some other videos we've seen in the past.
My whole thing is that they're probably going to get, at this point of the season, they could probably do enough things to get in the NFL's way, no matter what they want to do,
right?
To where it's going to get postponed. So
injunctions.
I'm not a legal expert. I did not say it a Holiday Inn Express. This is my uneducated opinion. So
here at Brown and Brown, we help you get back the money that you deserve. So call Brown and Brown.
We only handle certain, automobile accidents, things like that. Things of other sorts I don't have a clue.
Let's go to Dave H. Justin or Justin at QB. It's a must-win matchup.
I'm guessing Fields or Herbert. We're going Fields.
I agree. Sticky.
We're going with a prettier Justin.
I don't know. They're both pretty.
Fields is a pretty dude. I gotta.
Herbert's not pretty. I'd kill for that hair.
Okay.
Sticky.
All right. When he cut the hair,
I ain't saying Fields is in both.
No, when he cut the hair, he looked like he went back to junior high school, dude. No.
Sticky. Deion Jackson or Swift in the PPR? I'm already playing Jamal Williams.
Deion.
This is from Joe Chaperon Sear. You guys rock. Herbert or Drake in the PPR?
Going the Drake.
The Drake. Everybody loves the Drake.
Is fire.
Iggs Terminator, half PPR, need 1 RB and 1 flex from Gibson, Carter, Michael Carter, Khalil Herbert, Boyd, Dobbs. Does Michael Carter value jump if Robinson sits? And he says, grazie.
Robinson is in. He's active, but I think he's still going to be limited. So I don't think it really hurts Carter.
I'm going Gibson and Herbert here. Or no, actually, I'm sorry. I think I'm going Herbert and Boyd here. That's what I want to do.
I am going to go. Let me see. I'm going to go Carter and Herbert.
Wow, we are useless. Okay, there you go. Blank Slate 2000. Hello, go ask Erickson. Get a third opinion.
Just wait. His burner will pop up again.
Blank Slate 2000. Hello from Canada. 12-team 1-star. Gibson or Drake in the half PPR? It's got to be Drake.
Drake.
Lara Pesic. Who to start at quarterback? Cousins or Fields? It's Fields.
Riding the hot streak.
I understand, but I understand this question. I get it. But Fields, until he's starting to show otherwise, the 75 yard average rush for 3 games in a row, you got to play that. It's just too
Fields
good.
Is a baller. You look at what what Lamar Jackson did against this secondary, that's firmly in play for Fields.
JM Designs, Devin Duvernay, Deion Jackson, or Tyler Algier. I'm playing Jackson.
Deion.
Mark Noel, greetings from Costa Rica. Put it on the board. Yes.
Up on the map. Let's go.
Do I start Lamar Jackson or Tua Tagovailoa? I like Tua more this week.
Tua. Let's go Tua.
Yeah. Ben
Lamar's
Brooks.
just struggled, man. He's struggled. He has no receivers to throw to. Like,
You got no receivers to throw to. Plus, also think about this too. The Bears, Quinn's gone. Who else did we just traded? Oh my God, Roquan Smith. I mean, you're losing all of these pieces on the defense. Like Brisker's played real well, but I mean, it's not exactly a scary defense here, Chicago anymore. You take him some big pieces out.
Tyreek's going nuclear.
Everyone's going nuclear. I love how you almost say nuclear every time.
Nuclear.
But you know, if you ever say nuclear, I'm gonna nuke you because it's not a word. Neither is Houdat. Ben Brooks,
Troy,
gotta help on this one.
Please,
pick
please.
2. Ben Brooks needs us to pick 2.5 PPR. Khalif Raymond, Rondell Moore, Julio, or Paris Campbell. I'm taking Rondell.
Are you going Khalif? Because I'm actually
no
Paris.
I think Paris is the right call. Julio is my temptation, but I'm gonna fight it.
Don't do it.
I'm gonna
Forbidden
fight it.
fruit, Joe. Don't do it.
I know. That's why I'm not doing it.
Try to grab it. I'm gonna slap your hand. Don't do it.
Joe Arnold, Benjamin, Pacheco, or Akers, non-PPR. I kind of want to play Pacheco.
I want to play Pacheco.
Yeah.
I would go with Pacheco or Akers. I don't have any faith in Eno.
I have no faith in Akers. None. Especially non-PPR. James Peck, Tony. See, Pacheco can Pacheco break one off? I think he can.
Well, the other part about it is coming out of the bye. Could we see Pacheco take over more of the backfield?
That's going to be fascinating to see. It really is. James Peck, Tony or Pierce in the full PPR?
Take a shot in the dark with Tony.
He's miraculously healthy now too. It's unbelievable.
Crazy how that happens, Joe.
I know, right? All right, let's go to
Wolverine blood, baby.
Derek Buck, Lockett or Kirk? PPR.
Lockett.
Chris Koch, full PPR. Pick 2: Singletary, Patterson, or Dion. I'm going Patterson and Dion.
Same.
Skylar Martin.
Like you're getting more on the CPAT train, Joe.
Well, look, there's a threshold. I told you when we started. There's a threshold.
Sounds like you're kind of whittling down. You were not much on the CPAT before we turned the cameras on.
I wasn't, but there's a threshold. I'm the $1 million man. Everyone has a price. Okay, everyone has a price. Trevor Dottie, hey guys, do I stay with Jacoby in the flex or go with Palmer or Kadarius Toney? No, you stay with Jacoby Myers. Don't say crazy things.
Stay with good players.
Also, Pitts over Ingram in a standard league.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know. Do you lean on Ingram on that one?
No, in a standard, Pitts has it is close because I think Ingram's a steady floor, but I think in the standard, it's probably Pitts.
Do you want me to give the pro Pitts case because I know you're down on Pitts?
I'm not down on Pitts, but they don't throw the ball enough for everybody's going to be good. And now Patterson's back too. Okay. But I'd love to hear it anyway. Lay it on me, brother.
So when I was up late last night, thank you, Daylight Savings. I got an extra hour to kind of stay up late and look at stuff. You look over the last few weeks, and especially with the Chargers running a decent amount of zone, I think they're like 50 to 60% zone. Pitts has been more effective. He's getting more targets over the last 4 to 5 weeks versus zone. So, and he's quietly been one of the most effective receivers in the NFL versus zone. So I think Pitts has another strong game here.
Let's go to who's next here on the board. Here we go. Dennis Truckenmuller, Rondell Moore, or Jamal Williams in the flex PPR.
We're going Rondell. Mighty Mouse all the way.
Chris Hunter. Now this is an interesting Chris. This is the CRIS.
Don't say that very often.
It's not the K like our other Chris, who's our producer here, and it's no H. It's a fascinating one. Pick 2 in a standard: Dylan, Gibson, Michael Carter, Pittman.
I'm gonna go Dylan, and I'm gonna go. It's between Gibson and Carter for me, and
it's a standard. So who's gonna get in the end zone? Like
that's it.
I think Gibson has a better shot.
I'm gonna go with the volume. I'm gonna go with Carter on this one because I think he's got he's gonna get more shots at it.
Andre Wozniak, Eno Benjamin, or Devin Duvernay.
Oof.
Duvernay.
Yep.
Tennessee Jed 93. Pick 2: Dylan, Jamal Williams, Paris Campbell, Duvernay, full PPR flex, and a starting RB. Well, Dylan or Jamal Williams first. Let's figure that out because you got to get an RB in there.
Oh, well, I'm just gonna go with the RBs. I'm gonna go both of them.
Just go 2 full RBs. That's
Yep.
fair. I think
Dylan
that's how
and
you
Jamal.
control it. Eric Confer, what's up, pros? Just traded JT, Allen Robinson, and B-Rob for Devontae Adams and Jamar Chase. I'm 6-2.
Oh my lord, that's a nice trade.
Eric, well done.
That is
Well done.
That's bravo to you.
Proud of
That's
you,
a
bro.
Beautiful trade.
Bye week hell this week, though. Pick 2 in the PPR: Evan Ingram, Drake, or AJ Dillon. 2. I go Dillon and Ingram in the PPR. I just don't think Drake's is there for Drake.
No, I agree. I mean, I moved to more Pitts. Oh wait, no. Sorry, wait, that's Kenyon Drake. Sorry, I read that as Drake London. Sorry, no, Dylan.
Oh no, I read it as, you know what? I did the same thing in my head.
I read it as Drake London too. At first.
No, let's reorder.
I'm going
Drake
Dylan and Kenyon Drake.
Yep. Yes, sorry about that. Sometimes you said Drake,
my head,
and that's our head.
We were talking about so much. Pitts,
I know we both did the same thing.
London.
Kenyon Drake and Dylan. That's what you play there, Eric. And good job on that trade. Luke Stinges. I just want to buy a vowel somewhere. Everett or Hawkinson this week?
Oh my gosh! Can we get that clip? That was.
It's like that great moment in that movie A Fish Called Wanda when he says, "My name is Harvey Manfredgens," and
Joe, I'm not even old enough to get that reference.
It's a funny movie.
Let's go Everett.
All right, let's get to Hustler Pawawa. I mean, come on. What are we doing here? Hustler Pawawa. Help, please. Full PPR, RB. Brian Robinson, Deion Jackson, or Cordero Patterson.
CPAT, baby. CPAT.
Zach Kressler, full PPR. DeAndre Carter, James Conner.
Ugh.
I think you
Can
play
I say
Connor.
Neither? Connor
Yeah,
is one of
Connor
them.
here.
Can I say neither?
You can, but at least Connor we know is going to touch the football. I have no idea where you get out of Carter this week. None. Edward Ryan, 2 separate leagues, full PPR. Monty, Khalil, or Renfro?
Khalil.
Yes. DK, Metcalf, or Mostert. This one's trickier. I think you still got to play DK.
Mostert. I mean, DK the floor, Mostert ceiling. I'm going to go DK.
Okay. Junior, Everett or Pitts?
Pitts.
Flex the other tight end or Swift?
Flex the other.
Oh, see, I play Swift there. I'm already in a bad spot here. I'm flexing. See what happens. Troy Akoba. Morning, guys. Full PPR. Josh Palmer or Alan Lazard?
I'll go Palmer. I think he gets more volume.
If we answered your question today, if we made you laugh today, if we made you think today, like the stream, please give us a like. It's a very nice thing to do. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us every single weekend here. Let's get to Anthony Miller. Tough spot. Flex Eno Benjamin or Pacheco. I have a morbid Pacheco curiosity here. I really do. Purple Haze in one league. I'm so desperate because of Mageddon. I actually have to start McKinnon and Pacheco.
Whoa.
And there's a part of me that's like, this is either going to be awesome or the worst thing ever. Probably the worst thing ever.
Probably the worst thing ever. I'm gonna go with the worst thing ever.
I know, but there's a world where like Pacheco's amazing, has a touchdown, and then McKinnon gets some slop touchdown somewhere else. You know it, and I know it. It's possible. Purple Haze.
That is deep in the multiverse.
I'm just saying.
That's not even on the surface. No way. No. 7 layers.
Purple Haze 3426. Hey guys, love the channel. Y'all are my go-to source for fantasy advice. Well, thanks, Hayes. I'm in a 12-team PPR. Please pick 3. Christian Kirk, Thielen, Palmer, Jamal Williams, Michael Carter.
Kirk and Williams are definitely in, and then you're having a real deep conversation.
I think I play Thielen against the Commanders.
Is it PPR? Do we get that, or is it? Oh yeah, it's PPR. I'm gonna go Palmer. All right,
that's fair. Axe, need a quick waiver wire. Julio Jones or Paris Campbell and a half PPR.
Paris.
you let me finish that one. Saul DL. Saul DL. Buenos dias. Need 2 standards. Swift, DJ Moore, or Palmer.
Hola. DJ Moore. And let's go Palmer.
James Little. Swift, Jamal Williams, Curtis Samuel, or Christian Kirk. Start 2.
Jamal and Kirk.
Corey Singleton, Dobbs or DeAndre Carter, full PPR.
Oh, Dobbs.
Robert Stein, go Birds, PPR. CPAT Lazard at flex. Which one?
Let's go with CPAT.
I'm still playing Lazard.
I know
flex.
you are.
The Lions are so bad.
I get it.
So bad.
I just don't think the Lazard's anywhere close to healthy. That's what I worry about.
Ingram or Hill at tight end.
Oh, it's Ingram. It's Ingram.
Wayne Wilson, full PPR dynasty. Trade Dillon and Claypool for 2 mid-seconds in 2023 and 2024.
Yeah, I'd do that.
I'm okay with this too. I'm not a Claypool guy.
I would. Well, here's the thing. Those picks are going to do nothing but accrue value for you. They're stable value assets. Both of these players can go up or down a decent amount before the end of the season. You take the stable assets.
I love this. Here we go. They're coming out of the woodwork now. Who Dat Nation.
My
full
people!
PPR.
Yes!
Gibson, Jamal Williams, Swift, Pittman, Rondell Moore, Duvernay. Start 2.
Jamal and Rondell.
Kroll, the Warrior Princess. Hey, Joey P. Bro.
That.
Happy Sunday. PPR Flex. Zay Jones, Darnell Mooney, Alec Pierce, or Isaiah Likely.
I love
Mooney.
the Kroll reference here too. By the way, that's an underrated movie.
Is it a reference to Kroll, like that crappy, hilarious sci-fi movie, or is it a reference to How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, where they call the dog? It is, but remember Kroll, the crappy 80s sci-fi movie, which is glorious and hilarious. If you've never seen it, oh my god, that's a must. That was like one of those classic early HBO movies that was on every weekend and no one understood why. So you ended up watching it going, this is crap. Why am I watching this? But you watch it because you're 8. And that's what you're doing
for
that
the
day.
really, really deep pull here, Joe. I think it's just the low-hanging fruit. It's
Kroll the Warrior King. Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
So
it's a good movie. I like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. I'm a good rom-com guy. You're a rom-com guy too.
Yeah.
You're a softie. So what do you want to do here? What do you want to play? It's Mooney, isn't it? I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's Mooney. It's Mooney.
All right. Sean Fuller. That was an amazing conversation, by the way. Full PPR. Pick 1. Godwin, Swift, or Palmer. It's Godwin.
Godwin's a wide receiver 1.
Eddie Wolf, Lazard, or DeAndre Swift?
Lazard.
You just said Lazard. So I'm going to hold you to it now. And if it's wrong, I'm going to go tweet you. I'm going to troll tweet you if that's wrong today. It's going to be so funny. Way to go, D-bro. Yeah, last time I asked you for advice ever.
I'm gonna screenshot. I'm gonna do the classic reply, Joe. I'm gonna screenshot the ability of me possibly blocking you, although I won't. So it's the Twitter.
You could never block me, Steven. No, that is not in the range.
Because you just hit me up in Slack. I can't get away anyway.
It's true. You can't escape it. Steven Milius, Jacoby Myers, or Swift in the PPR flex. It's Jacoby. Myers. Lock it in. Jay Bonds 33. Half PPR need 2. Myers, McLaurin, Kirk, Pittman. I think it's Myers and
McLaurin, baby.
Christopher E. Do you have a lot of McLaurin DFS this week?
I do, sir.
He's cheap on DK. I hate him on FanDuel, but on DK I can make the case.
McLaurin and Jefferson mini stacks for the W's.
All right, Christopher E. Full PPR flex spot. Keep Hayden Hurst or pick Duvernay, Zay Jones, Robert Woods. I would pick up Duvernay. Yes. He has too much touchdown equity in that game. I'm sorry. You got to play for the 6.
If you go for the ceiling, yeah, I'll be going Duvernay.
Even if it's a slop 6 in the fourth quarter, nobody gives a crap. It doesn't matter.
I really like Hayden Hurst this week, but still, he doesn't. His ceiling doesn't even come close to Duvernay's.
You can't. The only tight ends you could start over wide receivers are named Kelsey and Andrews. Joseph Kowalski. Do I go Christian Kirk or Jacoby Myers? Appreciate the help.
Myers.
Candace Davis. Full PPR. Lazard Patterson.
CPAT. Oh wait, we sit one. We're sitting.
It's the same
we're
thing.
Sitting Likely.
Oh, and Likely's in there too. Yes, you're sitting likely of those 3. Yeah.
Sit Likely.
Michael 6322. Hines or Pacheco in the full PPR.
Pacheco. I'll join you in your morbid curiosity, Joe.
Yes, I also have a Hines morbid curiosity. This is a tough one for me.
Which morbid curiosity wins out for you then?
I think Pacheco, because coming out of the bye, a little bit more time. Hines is still new there, so I just don't know how much.
Pain train. You just want the pain.
I want the pain train. I just know what's coming here, which is this where
pain train.
Buffalo is going to be. It's already a handful. I don't think anyone's stopping the Bills this year.
As Dan Campbell would say, the pain train is coming. It's coming down the tracks.
William Medina, is Jalen Warren worth the hassle of stashing, knowing my bye weeks? No,
not at this point.
Cupcake 510. Pick 2. Jamal Williams, Lockett, or Godwin. Lockett and Godwin. Yes. Agreed. Aaron Lowe, 3-parter. 3-parter. Jeez, Aaron.
All right, hold on.
I need a
jumping jacks. All right, ready.
All right, here we go. Aaron. All right, here we go. Aaron, 3-parter. Start 2 in the full PPR. Khalif Raymond, MVS, Pacheco, or stream someone like Terrace Marshall?
MVS and Terrace.
Okay, Dalton or Carr for the QB2?
Dalton.
Really? Fascinating. All right, number 3, Dawson Knox or stream someone else? I think you play Knox.
Depends on who you're streaming, man.
No, there's enough touchdown equity to play Knox this week. I think it's fine. I mean, it does depend on who you're streaming, but there's nobody out there.
I could see him getting a lot of work because they stay away from the outside corners for the Jets. So
yeah. Alum H, morning guys, half PPR, Burrow or Fields, Gibson or Herbert? Fields, yes.
Fields and Gibson.
Herbert. I'm going Herbert. Khalil Herbert is not getting enough love. I know it's not a great match. I love
him, but the match
you don't love
terrible.
him.
And
you don't love him. You like him.
Too much
I love him. You are not in love with him. You're in like with him.
Oh,
this is the classic moment in the rom-com we talked about earlier where you're just not ready to commit. And this is why these relationships deteriorate. Fizz, Patterson or Connor in the full PPR. This is where I go Patterson. Again, we keep finding my Patterson threshold. Michael Lewis, Terrace Marshall, DeAndre Carter, or Khalif Raymond in the PPR.
Let's go Terrace.
Rich T, help. Great show, guys. I am dropping Cooks. So which one do I pick up? Mooney or Rondell Moore for the half PPR?
Rondell.
Christina Southwick. Good morning, guys. Should I start Joshua Palmer, Tyler Boyd, or Cordero Patterson as my flex in the PPR? Which one? Ooh. Thanks a lot, says Christina.
Boyd.
Agreed. Let's go to 76 Texas Tech. Pick 2 PPR, Drake, Benjamin, Rashad White, Paris Campbell, DeAndre Carter. Kenyon Drake.
Drake.
In.
And
either Campbell or
Eno. Eno.
Or Eno. Wow.
Oh, wait. Oh, I don't want DeAndre Carter.
Campbell then, right? No? I can understand the Eno thing. I get it. It's just kind of a safe.
I mean, it's
how to make it work.
Second option's bad. Yeah, let's go Paris. I think Paris' ceiling is above Eno's.
Fred. Love the hat, D, bro. PPR, D Carter, Patterson, or Jackson. Who's the odd man out? It's Carter.
Sit Carter.
Carter's the honor.
Yeah,
John Hoffert. Love you guys, especially when you make wrestling references. Well, you're welcome. A whole new wrestling pod will drop this week, by the way, for me in this ring. Go check it out. Shameless promotion. Ramondre or Foreman in the full PPR. What you want to do?
It's Mondre. Mondre is the top 5 back this week.
Got to play Foreman too. I don't care if it's full PPR.
Oh, I love Foreman.
Got to play Foreman.
You got to find a way to play him. He's an RB.
Play him over those crappy flex wide receivers this week. I'm telling you right now. Don't do it. A guy called Ed. Hey, off half PPR, 1 RB, 1 flex, 1 tight end. AJ Dillon, Brian Robinson, Josh Palmer, Rondell Moore, Darren Waller, or Taysom Hill. Well, I don't think Waller's going to play, so let's play Hill.
Dillon. Yeah, Waller's out.
Yeah, Waller's. Is he officially out yet? I haven't seen official, but he's done.
I'm almost positive he's.
So let's play Dillon, Rondell, and Hill. Yes?
Yes.
All right. Don't forget, everybody. Tera Roberts coming up right after us. She is going to give you, one of you, a DK Metcalf autograph jersey from pristineauction.com. So make sure you subscribe to Fantasy Pros right now. Drop a question or comment in the chat, like the stream, and then you can win that DK Metcalf autograph jersey from pristineauction.com. Don't forget to like the stream too. Very important. Then Nathan Tuttle, we've got next. We're going to do a couple more of these, and we're going to switch over. Nathan Tuttle, Jamal Williams, Eno Benjamin, Kenyon Drake, Gabe Davis, Rondell Moore, half PPR, need an RB, and a flex. Appreciate your advice, Joe and Debro. Actually, it's Debro, the way he wrote it.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Of the bros. Drake and
Moore, right? That's how you want to go. Unless you want to go Gabe Davis.
Drake and Rondell.
Okay, Tim Bennett, Montgomery versus Swift in the PPR. Who would you rather have?
Montgomery.
Gross.
I know you're going Swift.
Yep.
They're both gross.
I'd rather take possibly good than never good. Mayor Aioli.
I'd rather take healthy over always hurt.
Mayor Aioli. Is this like Mike Mayer has his own brand of like sauces and stuff now and like things? I know he has his own Aioli. Pacheco or Hines in the half PPR?
Pacheco. I'm going to go with your morbid curiosity.
Jazz Pope, DeAndre Swift or Khalil Herbert, full PPR.
Herbert.
Josh Monatas. Good morning, gents. Need help in the flex. Full PPR, 4-4. That sucks. And the choice is between Julio Jones and Juwan Johnson. Who dat? Another who dat. You can have this one.
Juwan, baby. Julio's
all right, last two. Philip Roberts, pick 2, full PPR, Rondell Moore, Josh Palmer, Boyd. Going Boyd and Rondell.
Yeah, let's go Boyd and Rondell.
Yep. Ed Pastana. What's up, guys? 12-team PPR, need flex in one. CEH, Connor, Tony, or J-Rob. Ooh, this is the
Yeah,
worst thing ever. Ed, you're going to take an L this week. None of this is going to help you. None of it. It's bad.
Tony, just for
I'd play Connor.
possible
I'd play
ceiling.
Connor just for the hope he gets in the end zone because there's a better chance of Connor touching the football more.
That's
I know
fine.
you. I know why you're
rough.
saying what you're saying, but it's 12:01, which means
so
we've
rough.
officially turned into pumpkins. Tera Roberts going to take you from here. Don't forget to subscribe, like the stream, share, enjoy the football today. It's week 9. It's Buymageddon Part 1, Buymageddon Part 2, Volume 2 coming in week 14. But for now, Tera Roberts is going to take you the rest of the way. That'll do it for me and D-Bro. But the story of the game goes on. Have a great Sunday in week 9, everybody. See ya.
Peace.
What's up, everyone? Oh man, you got me for the next hour. Let's go. We've got lots of questions heading up to kickoff. Very excited to be with you guys, and I'm going to get in and jump over to the questions right off the bat, take off where the guys left off, doing an amazing job answering the questions. Sean Krauts, Deion Jackson, or Donta Foreman at flex this week in PPR. Well, I do like Deion Jackson. I do. We saw Zach Moss inactive, so we've got pretty much confirmation that the aggressive workload is going to go to Deion Jackson, but we also have Chuba Hubbard inactive, and the situation is just a lot better for Donta Foreman. And while he's not necessarily a pass-catching back, he probably has a little bit more upside to catch more targets than Deion Jackson does. It's Sam Ehlinger not really dumping the ball off much last week. So I lean towards going with Donta Foreman as the better option over Deion Jackson. Next question from Marco Carrasco. Romeo Dobbs or Juju non-PPR. So we did just get confirmation that Christian Watson will be active this week. Crazy. Was not really expecting that. He'd been questionable all week. Was rolled out fairly quickly. So Romeo Dobbs coming in and unfortunately maybe having a little bit of that workload taken off of him. You might see him go back to where he was before. We've got Alan Lazard active. We've got Christian Watson active. Obviously, a lot of that offense is running through Aaron Jones as well, Robert Tonyan. There's just all of a sudden there's a lot of mouths to feed that kind of makes Romeo Dobbs a little bit less appealing of an option. And Juju is coming off a couple of strong games. He's been coming off strong. He's been asserting himself as that guy over Mecole, over MVS, and now hopefully over Kadarius Toney as well. But I'm not super worried about Kadarius Toney. I feel comfortable going with Juju as the guy who is the second preferred option behind Travis Kelce. So let's go with Juju Smith-Schuster, especially in non-PPR. Might not be too friendly for Dobbs this week. Next question from Cameron Jackson. Good morning, Rondell Moore or David Montgomery, full PPR. I think you got to go with Rondell Moore. David Montgomery is an interesting one. It's not a bad matchup for Chicago in general. Miami's defense has struggled. But the problem is that we've got Khalil Herbert that is throwing a wrench in there. And this could be a day where Khalil Herbert gets out there. They're splitting the touches fairly evenly. And Herbert's just kind of looked a little bit better, unfortunately. So I think it's probably a safer option, especially in full PPR, to go ahead and go with Rondell Moore. Next question from Ernie Torres. Worshing Curtis Samuel, James Conner, or Kenyon Drake at flex in PPR. This is an interesting one. I'm not a fan of Conner this week. Unless there are situations where a guy steps into a clear lead back role that he's returning to something that is well claimed as his. I'm not a fan of playing those guys right off of an injury because we don't know what that split between Conner and Eno Benjamin is going to be now. I think Eno has kind of solidified himself as somebody who needs a role in this offense, and we could see it looking a little bit more like last year when it was James Conner and Chase Edmonds. So, it's very possible that Eno's earned his spot. So I'm uncomfortable with James Conner. That leaves us with Curtis Samuel and Kenyon Drake. Curtis Samuel is a pretty steady option, pretty reliable option, a decent floor as well. But I lean towards going with Kenyon Drake. I think at this point, we don't have 100% confirmation that Gus Edwards is going to play unless that changed over the last hour or so. He's still doubtful, but I feel comfortable with doubtful enough to say that Kenyon Drake is going to be that guy this week for Baltimore at running back. So I'm going to go with Kenyon Drake over Curtis Samuel and James Conner Next question from Karen Doss. Isaiah Likely or Terrace Marshall? I love Isaiah Likely this week. Again, similar situation there, same exact situation with Baltimore and Mark Andrews more than likely not going to play, which leaves Isaiah Likely as that guy who is going to be the lead tight end. And that position is just such a prominent part of this Baltimore offense that there's just no way that they reduce the role aggressively. The opportunity is going to be there for Isaiah Likely. It really just comes down to how much he can produce, and he did very well with it last week. 6 receptions, 77 yards, touchdown. He looked fantastic. He looked like that guy. The pass catching ability is through the roof. So I'm very comfortable with Isaiah Likely this week. He's a top 10 tight end for me. So yeah, that is my guy that I would be going with over Terrace Marshall, who is coming on strong, and I like the target share. I do like Terrace Marshall in the way that he's trending rest of season, but Isaiah Likely is that dude. Next question from MFR Plays. Sit 1, James Robinson, Dawson Knox, Khalif Raymond, full PPR. It's going to be James Robinson for me, unfortunately. So James Robinson was declared active, so we've got that, and so that's good and all. But the problem is that one, awful matchup for both James Robinson and Michael Carter. And we saw that, we can assume that there might be a little bit more tilting towards James Robinson as they move forward and as he gets more comfortable in this offense. But I don't think we can feel so comfortable with it that we're willing to put him out there in our starting lineup. Dawson Knox, boom bust player, but again, he's got a higher touchdown equity in my opinion. Khalif Raymond, again, we've seen that Josh Reynolds is not going to play. And, his opportunity is increasing in this offense. So I lean towards sitting James Robinson of that grouping. Next question from Trevor Hassel. Full PPR, 10-team league, DeAndre Swift or Kenyon Drake? Yes, I'm asking this question. I get it. I'm asking myself this question as well, because the problem is that we've got confirmation that, while DeAndre Swift is going to be active, we do know that he's going to be limited. He's not at full capacity. He's come around and said that he's not 100% healthy. And oddly enough, he's not sure if he's going to be 100% healthy this year at all. Very strange thing to say. Makes you a little bit uncomfortable. But the problem is that it is a fantastic matchup for Detroit running backs in general against that Green Bay run defense that has struggled so much. They're obviously, they're better at the pass. It's easier to attack them on the ground, and teams are doing it at will. And you kind of have to wonder, is there just going to be so much volume that it's okay to have DeAndre Swift there on a limited capacity? Feel super comfortable with Jamal Williams this week, obviously. And then I think that DeAndre Swift is a fine option for a low-end RB2 and a flex option. And I think the upside is probably just going to be a little bit higher than Kenyon Drake. So while I like Drake this week, I'm going with the potential upside of DeAndre Swift, even in a limited capacity. Yes, we got to ask ourselves that question because it's tough. It's tough when we've got a guy who we know is going to be limited, but he's in a fantastic matchup. So go with DeAndre Swift. Next question from Alex Hernandez. What's up? Pittman Jr. or Rondell at wide receiver 2, full PPR. And if it is more, you'll be flexing Pitts. Thoughts? Interesting. I don't mind flexing Pitts, honestly. But when I'm looking at Pittman and Rondell Moore at the wide receiver too, with Rondell Moore, we've obviously got a very solid floor, for the most part, except, in one strange situation since since the second game back from his return. We've had a pretty solid floor from him. As long as he is playing the right position, as long as he is being utilized the right way, as long as Cliff Kingsbury is making the right decisions, he's been a fine option. Now, the problem is that he does lack a little bit of upside. He, doesn't have that touchdown equity that DeAndre Hopkins has, Zach Ertz as well. So the problem is that there's just kind of a limit to his ceiling that obviously Michael Pittman Jr. doesn't have. We know the ceiling is upwards of 30 fantasy points from him because he can get there. And the targets last week, they were encouraging. He did still have 9 targets, I think. He was very close to getting a touchdown. And if he had gotten that touchdown, if he was just a little bit closer, this would have been a different story in terms of how we're viewing him and the safety of him with Sam Ehlinger. So personally, I'm a lot more comfortable with Pittman than some other analysts are. And I'm okay with going with Pittman over Rondell Moore because I think the floor is going to be fairly similar. but I think the upside is a lot higher for Pittman. So I would be going with Pittman over Rondell Moore. And next question from Cupcake 510. Tua or Herbert? That is a good question. Because obviously, Tua, Chicago's defense, it's a little lacking right now. They have made some trades as well. So, we don't know 100% exactly what we're going to expect out of them and how they're going to recover from the losses. And Herbert is kind of an interesting situation where he's without all of his weapons, but honestly, his biggest weapon thus far has been Austin Eckler. That has been his guy. So it's possible that Herbert can still get us there. I'm not off of him 100% because he can still get us there with the receptions with Austin Eckler. I can easily see where Eckler has 2 receiving touchdowns from Herbert, but I think Tua is the much safer option. So I would go with Tua, safer option, good matchup. It's tough. It's tough because you want to go with Herbert, but I think just the upside and stability of Tua is a lot higher. Because this could very well be a very aggressive Austin Eckler game. So we were at the mercy of hoping that he's catching touchdown passes from Herbert. Next question from Marcio Engelberg. Good morning from Panama. Good morning from Panama. Awesome. In bye week, need of help. Oh, we are. We are all in need of bye week help because this one is crazy with 6 teams on bye. Sit 1, full PPR, Christian Kirk, Darnell Mooney, DeAndre Carter, Robert Woods. I feel like my answer to this one is going to be a little bit interesting. Some people might think that I would go the direction of DeAndre Carter, but no, I'm going with Robert Woods. That is the guy that I am uncomfortable with. Again, Christian Kirk, good matchup. Target share should go up. It's been lacking a little bit lately, but I expect him to get a little bit of a recovery in this game because they've had some tough defensive matchups in the prior couple of weeks. Darnell Mooney, good matchup as well. We talked about that Chicago-Miami matchup. The defense in Miami, although they did get some reinforcements there in Bradley Chubb, they have been lacking on defense, unfortunately. And then DeAndre Carter has been dealing with an illness this week, but he was declared active. He's apparently good to go. You get a little bit worried about those illnesses. We don't know a ton about it, but again, the matchup there for the LA Chargers against Atlanta is fantastic. Robert Woods concerns me so much because there's no upside for him, unfortunately. And we're 100% not sure who is going to be starting at quarterback. Now, it's, granted the upside's a little higher if it's Tannehill, but with Malik Willis, we just haven't seen a lot to make us feel very encouraged. And we haven't seen Robert Woods utilized at a very high level. Yes, he's the wide receiver 1, but it's not exactly worth much in that offense, unfortunately. And I see no reason that this offense shouldn't continue to run aggressively, especially in this matchup against Kansas City. Shouldn't aggressively run on the ground with Derrick Henry. Robert Woods, I'm very uncomfortable with. Very limited upside. So that's the one that I'm sitting, especially in full PPR. Next question from Matt Howard. Half PPR, Isaiah Likely, Kyle Pitts. I like this one. I've seen this one a couple of times. I'm okay with going with Isaiah Likely. I'm a true believer this week. And while I like what I've seen from Kyle Pitts in terms of an uptick and increase, and Marcus Mariota is, he's on a little bit of a, he's on a Marcus Mariota roll, as much as Marcus Mariota can roll. And, a good matchup as well. But I feel so very inclined to play Isaiah Likely this week. When we look at what he did last week, again, remember the statistics from last week that he had was with Mark Andrews being involved in the early portion of the game. So, you just got to, even in a tougher matchup against New Orleans, you just got to imagine that the opportunity is going to be there for Isaiah Likely. And I think he's going to have a more solid floor. I love the upside for him. I'm okay with going with Isaiah Likely over Kyle Pitts. DFS help from Madeline. Vikings, Cardinals, Jets for their pressure despite the tough matchup. Yeah, I get that. But and I was just looking at this on DraftKings. I prefer to go with the Vikings defense. The price, there's not really any lower appealing teams that are kind of screaming at me to kind of go below the pricing of the Vikings. I looked, I couldn't, just none of them really appealed to me. So the Vikings are the one that I'm going with. I think it's the safest option. They've got some high upside opportunity if they can create a few turnovers, and the pricing is pretty decent. So I'm going with the Vikings over those two. Next question from Chase Rabin. Happy game day, Gasicki or Disley full PPR? So I do a cut video every single week, and Gasicki was on my cut list. So I'm gonna be, fully transparent about that one because he is very matchup dependent, and this isn't one of the better matchups for him. But when I'm looking at Disley again, I'm looking at two guys who are also very, volatile players, but the upside is just higher for Gasicki. So if I'm going to go and choose between two guys that are a little bit volatile in terms of their production, in terms of their target share, I'm going to go with Gasicki, who is the one who just has a little bit more upside than Disley does. Next question from Darian Jaden, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Isaiah Pacheco, James Robinson, RB2 full PPR. So we talked about Robinson earlier, so I'm nixing him off the bat as someone that I'm just not really trusting, despite the fact that he is active this week. So that leaves us with CEH and Isaiah Pacheco. Now, Tennessee is not a bad matchup on the ground, so this is an opportunity for both of them to thrive. But if I'm looking at groundwork, obviously groundwork, aside from, a game or two here and there, has not really been CEH's expertise. He's not really been highly successful with it, not a ton of opportunities. It's really come for him in the pass catching performance. And when we're looking at all of those weapons, Kadarius Toney added in as well. I don't know if we're going to see a little bit, I think he might be a little bit more volatile. Maybe that's not going to be something that's going to be, he's not going to be someone that's heavily utilized in the pass game moving forward, since they have so many options that they can go with. So I think Isaiah Pacheco might be the safer option if they can give him a little bit more groundwork. It's a good matchup for him. And I can easily see where he's out there getting, 8 to 10 touches and breaks one off for a big run, and can pay off. Full PPR, it does make it a little bit difficult to trust him because he's not a pass catching back, and CH obviously has that upside over him. But I feel safer going with Pacheco. So that's the direction I would head. Next question from Trisha R. Good morning, Tara. Kenyon Drake or Brian Robinson? Oh, thank you. I appreciate the compliment. I love giving you guys advice. Yeah, and we'll talk about that Metcalf jersey in a little bit too. Kenyon Drake or Brian Robinson? Assuming this is not standard league, then I feel most, and even maybe so in standard, honestly, I feel more comfortable with Kenyon Drake. When you look at that Washington matchup against the Vikings have been pretty strong against the run game recently. They struggled a little bit earlier in the season, but they recovered, and we've got some, they've had some fantastic performances. So you get a little bit concerned that if they're extremely strong against the run, and we've got Kirk Cousins and, Justin Jefferson in a good match, obviously Dalvin Cook in a good matchup where they can jump up early on Washington. The game script for this to me reads that this is not a Brian Robinson game. This is going to be an Antonio Gibson game, because more than likely, unless Kirk chokes in his little revenge game, that's a possibility, but more than likely they're going to be playing from behind, unfortunately, and it's going to kind of phase out Brian Robinson, who only gets work on the ground. Better opportunity for Antonio Gibson. J.D. McKissick is out as well, but if it's Antonio Gibson. So the running back that I like in this game, it isn't Brian Robinson, unfortunately. So I lean towards going with Kenyon Drake as the far higher upside at running back. By the way, guys, that jersey was mentioned. We can go and talk about that for a second, because if you want a chance to win the signed DK Metcalf Seattle Seahawks jersey, courtesy of our friends at Pristine Auction, you need to subscribe to the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel right now. Comment below on this video and then stick around, because I will be announcing the winner right here on this live within the next hour. So this is your last chance to get that jersey. So follow, comment, because that's a fantastic jersey. I am jealous. I wish that I was able to win it. So yeah, comment please. Get your chance to win that jersey, because it is beautiful. All right. Next question from Brian Miller. Kenneth Walker or Deonta Foreman? I love this question because I love Kenneth Walker, and I'm becoming a big fan of Deonta Foreman. It's fun seeing his little comeback. I think sometimes we forget that he was somebody who should have been a good prospect, and unfortunately got hit with one of those killer injuries early in his career. It's nice to see him finally healthy and resurging. We had that opportunity in Tennessee. Now got this fantastic opportunity in Carolina. And no Chuba Hubbard, so he's holding on to possibly repeat what he did last week. So between him and Kenneth Walker, I kind of maybe lean towards going with Foreman. I love Kenneth Walker, but again, and while he was good in the previous matchup, we do have evidence, statistics of the exact carries and yardage that Kenneth Walker had in his previous, and he was almost at 100 yards, so it was a good game. So by no means do I think Kenneth Walker is going to be a bust. I just think his upside might be a little bit limited in this matchup against Arizona. So I lean towards going with Donta Foreman. Higher upside, more opportunity, obviously a little bit less weapons to contend with, only only DJ Moore to contend with really as an aggressive weapon. So I like Foreman over Kenneth Walker. Next question from James Callahan. Half PPR, Kyle Pitts or Evan Ingram at tight end? I would go with Kyle Pitts given the matchup. It's tough because I really like Evan Ingram, who was also in a fantastic matchup. We didn't see it last week, or in prior weeks, but we have had tight ends with a lot of success against Las Vegas, and that's the matchup that Evan Ingram has. So I do really like Evan Ingram this week. He's a top 10 tight end for me, but I would go with Kyle Pitts as well. Good matchup. So next question from Mike Bunce. Pick 2, half PPR, Cordell Patterson, Josh Palmer, Jamal Williams. You got 3 fantastic options there. So I think the approach that I would take with you is I would probably sit Cordell Patterson because you've got a wide receiver 1 option for Justin Herbert in a good matchup against Atlanta, who has given up huge, huge games in the past several weeks to any and everybody that has been thrown passes at their unfortunately struggling and unhealthy secondary. And Jamal Williams, again, we've got DeAndre Swift limited. It's a good matchup against Green Bay that we talked about. The touchdown equity is super high with Jamal Williams. So if you want to play it safe, maybe you've got a good team and you don't need the potential upside that Cordell Patterson can bring. It's his first game back, so maybe leave him on the bench and just, give that as a nice just in case he's maybe eased back a little bit and doesn't have all of the opportunities in the world in that offense. So go with Josh Palmer and Jamal Williams as the safer options for you. Next question from Joshua Slate. Start 3 with the best floor, half PPR. Very specific. I like that. Best floor in half PPR between Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams. Got ahead of myself there. Best floor. Definitely going to go with Evans, Godwin, and Jamal Williams. I love the upside of DeAndre Swift. When I talk about DeAndre Swift as a start this week, the floor it's all right. I think it's decently stable because he will get work and it's a good matchup. His upside is why I really like him this week and do recommend playing him as a low-end RB2 or a flex option, but the floor is far safer with Williams, Godwin, and Evans, so that is the direction that I would head for you. Nathan Burns, good morning. 16 team, full PPR, 6-2. Awesome, good job. Likely, Raymond, Juice, DeAndre Carter. Thanks for your morning commitments. Go Tigers. Nice. Thank you so much. I am probably going to lean towards going with Isaiah Likely. I mentioned before, I probably said his name. I did a live earlier on the FantasyPros Instagram. I probably said this man's name about 5,000 times. I literally like Isaiah Likely this week, just based off what we saw last week. And I think that's a solid floor from him to be able to expect him to get a solid 15 points and have some high upside as well, because he is such a dynamic. I mean, we saw what he did in preseason. Now, granted, preseason is preseason, but if we see the talent, we see the reliability, there were no weaknesses in his game, and he can be utilized in such a similar way to Mark Andrews. He's not Mark Andrews, but he's like Mark Andrews light, fixed perfectly into the offense. They don't have to change anything with their game plan. So yes, I am kind of obsessed with Isaiah Likely this week, and that is the direction that I would head. Next question from Brittany Loveless. Mixon or Foreman? Standard. I would prefer to go with Foreman. Excuse me. I prefer to go with Foreman in standard. Again, Mixon's work on the ground has been a little lacking, unfortunately, and a lot of his upside has come in the pass game. So Foreman, literally the opposite. A lot of work on the ground, a lot of success on the ground, touchdown equity. Not as much in the pass game. So in standard, it makes sense to lean and go the direction of Foreman. Question from Rich Berkey. Who do I drop? I need a defense. Oh, Mooney, Wandale, Kadarius Toney, San Francisco defense. It's you hate to carry two defenses, but San Francisco's defense has been very strong, and depending on the league size, you might hate to lose them. So I lean towards dropping Wandale Robinson. You don't need him this week. And honestly, when you have those players that are coming off of bye weeks, like a low end player that's not super high rostered coming off of a bye week, they go under the radar a lot of times. And sometimes it's a lot easier to be able to pick them right back up because people forget and they're not coming off of a game where they're highly productive. They get overlooked. So you should be able to drop him, get your streaming defense, and then be able to pick him up back again next week, more than likely. So go with Wandale as a guy that you're dropping. Christian Murphy, half PPR, pick 2. Rondell Moore, Antonio Gibson, Josh Palmer. Josh Palmer is the absolute, smash for me in that one. So then between Rondell Moore and Antonio Gibson, it gets a little tough, but honestly, I think their floors are kind of similar this week. We're talking about Antonio Gibson. I spoke about him earlier. We've got JD McKissick that's out, and that just opens the door wide open for him as a pass catching back in a game where Washington is more than likely going to be playing from behind. So I think that just kind of opens up the door for a lot higher upside and a steady floor for Gibson. We've seen, a decently steady floor out of him. So I'm willing to go with Gibson over Rondell Moore. Go with Gibson and Josh Palmer. Next question from Chris Matheson. Sounding awesome today. Awesome. Thank you. Deion Jackson or Drake today. Oh, man. I've seen that combination several times today. And I think you got to go with Deion Jackson. Again, we saw that Zach Moss inactive. This is Deion Jackson's backfield for right now and possibly a little bit longer. Not knowing exactly how long the Colts will hold out Jonathan Taylor. So I like Deion Jackson today. The only downside to Deion Jackson is that his upside in PPR is a little bit capped. Now granted, we only have one game as a sample size, but the game last week from Sam Ehlinger, he only threw the ball to running backs, unfortunately, like 3 times, which is just, not what we would like to see. When we saw Deion Jackson earlier, we know he has excellent pass catching ability, caught 10 passes from Matt Ryan earlier in the season. And I don't think we'll see that, but I like the fact that we at least do have pass catching upside from him. We know that he's reliable. The backfield is solely his own. So I lean towards, you know what? I realized that, so when I see Drake, I always get confused and say Drake London or Kenyon Drake, but still over Kenyon Drake. I think that Deion Jackson is still a fine start for the same reasons. So I'd lean towards going with Deion Jackson as the guy that's the sole option in that backfield in what should be a little bit more competitive game. Next question from Joe Tuco. Lazard, Mostert, Juju, pick 2, full PPR. The ones that I like in this grouping are going to be, now granted, it's a good matchup for Mostert, so it's hard to sit him, although he's had 2 good matchups, and unfortunately, they haven't really paid off for him. Now granted, that has less to do with Mostert and more to do with the fact that this offense is full of offensive firepower through the air. So we're seeing a lot of Tua. We're seeing a lot of Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, and unfortunately, that leaves Mostert, even in these good matchups, with limited upside, unfortunately. So I lean towards going with Allen Lazard and Juju. When I look at Allen Lazard, again, in games where he's been active and healthy, he's had touchdowns in every single one of them except for one. All of those games where he played over 80% snap count. He has been fantastic. He is a key look for Aaron Rodgers in the red zone. So he's a very safe option. He's been very steady in my opinion. So I would hate to bench that. And Juju's been coming off of some fantastic games as well. So that's the direction that I would head. Mostert will be the one that I would bench. Next question from Method Madness. Swift or Mooney, half PPR, go Tigers. Yes, go Tigers. I wish last night's results were like just a little bit different, maybe not such aggressive of a blowout. That was kind of embarrassing, but we won't talk about that. I'm still proud. But Swift or Mooney, half PPR. I would go with Swift. Now, granted, it's a good matchup for Mooney, and I kind of get the feeling that maybe in this first game, now granted, this might not continue on as Chase Claypool gets a little bit more involved with the offense, and it's very possible that he could, take over more of a higher target share over Mooney. But maybe in this first game, when he's on the field, he'll be more of a distraction than someone who is going to be aggressively targeted and maybe hopefully open up more opportunities for Mooney. So I'm not completely off of Mooney. I am starting him in deep leagues. But I think the floor is very similar for Swift and Mooney, but the upside is higher for Swift. So I would go with Swift over Darnell Mooney. Next question from Troy Mobley. Rest of season reasons I traded, Rest of season reasons I traded ETN and Miles Sanders for Barkley. Full PPR, good, bad, ugly. I mean, I get it. I get why you did it. Barkley does have a lot of high upside, and he is a legitimate top 5 back. The problem, I don't know, you might have lost a little bit on that one, but I don't hate it. I don't know. I don't want to say bad. I don't want to say bad because I understand why you did it, but the upside for ETN is super high right now, not that far off from Barkley. Now, Miles Sanders' upside is a little bit capped because, again, in that offense with Jalen Hurts, while Sanders has been doing fantastic, his upside has just been a little bit limited. So I'll give you a C on that one. Next question from Ant. Start 2, half PPR, Eno, James Robinson, Hilliard, White, Hines, thank you. Oh, crying internally. I get that, unfortunately, because you had a lot of things not really work out in your way. I get like when you were looking at this at the beginning of the week, before the trade deadline and everything, this is probably looking a little bit different for you. So, I feel uncomfortable going with, now Hines is someone who I do like in that grouping in general, but I feel uncomfortable going with Hines in this first game. Something about it just doesn't read as him having an aggressive level of involvement right off the gate for him. So I would probably lean towards going with, again, we talked about James Conner earlier in the fact that I don't think he comes back to this role as his sole backfield. I think it's going to be different from the beginning of the year, and I think that Eno Benjamin is going to maintain a role in the offense. Against Seattle, no, great, they've stepped up on defense, well over the past several games, but I'm still feeling more comfortable with Eno than I am out of anyone in that grouping. So Eno is the one that I would go with. And then honestly, Hilliard is not a bad option. We're getting now, Tennessee is being very elusive about who is starting at quarterback. And the more elusive they are, the more I start to think that it's going to be Malik Willis that is playing. And if it's Malik Willis, all that does is scream to me that they're just going to run, and more run. And that benefits Hilliard. So I would probably go with Eno Benjamin and Dontrell Hilliard. I like Rashad White, but this matchup might be a little bit more difficult. So those are the two that I would go with. Next question from Matt Gustafero. Good morning. Oh, you missed on IG. Oh, well, thank you for trying to at least tune in. Can you start 2 of the running backs out of this group? DeAndre Swift, AJ Dillon, Jamal Williams, Kenyon Drake. So honestly, this is kind of an interesting one. And we saw this before where it's honestly not the worst idea in the world to go with both DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams, particularly in this matchup. Now, sometimes it feels a little bit funny to be starting 2 running backs from the same team, but given the fact that it's against Green Bay, given the fact that we know how the split goes, we know that the volume for DeAndre Swift is going to come from his ability to break out big plays. He's going to be getting carries, big plays. He'll have a little bit of, opportunity in the pass game as well. And then with Jamal Williams, we know that once they get to that goal line, that's their dude. So you're kind of combining the best of 2 worlds right here. While your upside is kind of a little bit limited, I think it's kind of a safer option to go with because given that TJ Hawkinson is gone, given that Josh Reynolds is hurt, given the matchup, they can aggressively rely on the run. So that's honestly, you can go with both of the Detroit running backs here. Next question from Never Go Full Jeff. Pick 1, PPR. Curtis Samuel, Allen Robinson, Christian Kirk, Antonio Gibson, flex spot, half PPR. Thank you for last week that's starting Donta Foreman tip. Awesome. Hopefully I do you well this week. It comes down to Christian Kirk and Antonio Gibson for me. We talked earlier about why I really like Antonio Gibson in this matchup, but I also like Christian Kirk. This is a nice bounce back game for the Jags offense as a whole. Obviously, Travis Etienne was fantastic last week. But it was a difficult matchup overall, and it's understandable why the pass game suffered so much. And I think this is a good spot for them to kind of bounce back against against the Vegas team that has really struggled defensively. And I like Christian Kirk to maybe get an increase of targets this week, be more productive with them. So if I had to go with the player that has the higher upside of this grouping, it's going to be Christian Kirk for me. All right, let's see. Jan Letterhouse, quarterback help, Burrow or Cousins. I am playing T2. Yeah, so Burrow has been, it's been a little bit disappointing since the exit of Jamar Chase. Obviously, he plays a big role in that offense and the success of Joe Burrow. But I think we can see a nice bounce back game from Joe Burrow here, enough to justify starting him over Cousins as well. Cousins is a little bit of a risk for me. It's a revenge game, and we know how sometimes those things can go, where, you come out with emotions, you get a little bit overwhelmed, there's some turnovers and whatnot. So I don't know if this is the smash performance for Kirk Cousins that it could be. I feel a little bit more comfortable going with Joe Burrow, but it's super, super close. So I would lean towards going with Joe Burrow. Jamal Williams or Deion Jackson. And Vikings Okay, we'll do the flex question first. Jamal from Chris McCoy. The flex question first between Jamal Williams and Deion Jackson. I probably lean towards going with Jamal Williams again. Pure touchdown equity matchup. While I do like that Deion Jackson's backfield is solely his, I'm okay with the split backfield of Jamal Williams given the upside and opportunity that he has within the context of that game. And then the second part of that question with the DST, Vikings or Bucks defense. I'm okay with going with the Vikings defense in this situation. I think I answered it in the DFS question. Well, I don't know if I dove into it, but again, this is a good matchup for that Minnesota defense. They have been coming on strong lately, and I can see this as a situation where they can create a few turnovers and maybe get some sack opportunities as well. So I like the Minnesota defense in this matchup. Next question from Harold Jones, full PPR, Deion Jackson or Josh Palmer. I'm going Josh Palmer. Love Deion Jackson again, but Josh Palmer is the one with just aggressive upside in this game. LA is facing the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons obviously struggling on defense, hurt, dealing with a lot of stuff, and they've just been lit up in their secondary over and over and over again, and I don't expect that to change. So I like this spot for Josh Palmer. The next question from Tom K. Walker, Foreman, Mike Evans, Alan Lazard, half PPR, pick 2. Oh, man. I hate to say sit Alan Lazard because I talked about earlier. I mean, he's been such a steady option when he's healthy. And it is a good matchup against Detroit. Obviously, this is a great bounce back performance. Now, is it a bounce back or is it just a bounce in general? Because was Aaron Rodgers ever really up? Unfortunately, no. So we just want to see like a breakout situation for Aaron Rodgers against this Detroit defense, and that obviously benefits Alan Lazard. But I think given half PPR as well, I really like Donta Foreman this week. No Chuba Hubbard. Mike Evans as well. He's, obviously Tom Brady has struggled. But between Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, the one who's just had the higher upside, which is odd because we wouldn't have expected that. But a lot of targets have been thrown at, at Mike Evans, which has been a little bit different than what we've traditionally seen, where he's been the one with the more touchdown equity. So he's had the touchdown equity. He's had the targets. He's had the higher upside. So I do like Mike Evans in this matchup. So I would go with Mike Evans and Donta Foreman over Alan Lazard. Next question from Paul Lapp, full PPR, pick 1. Olave, Godwin, or Foreman. I like this. Just talked about Godwin. And Olave and Foreman. Again, so Olave is an interesting one because he's obviously, now granted we have the possibility of Jarvis Landry coming and making a little bit of a wrench in anything, but is Jarvis Landry really going to throw a massive wrench in anything? I find that hard to believe. So the upside, I think, really does lie with Olave this week. Obviously, I would prefer to go with Olave's upside over Godwin. Target share has been there for Godwin, but the upside just hasn't, as we just talked about with Mike Evans. And Foreman, again, sole backfield. Full PPR makes it difficult to go with him over Olave. I think this is a good situation where we could see a nice bounce back game from Olave, who was a little bit disappointing last week, as they were kind of leaning aggressively on Alvin Kamara in that breakout game. So I'm okay with going with Chris Olave over Donta Foreman, just because I feel like this is a situation and a matchup with the Ravens defense on a Monday night where Olave can really have a nice increase in target share. So that's the direction that I'm going for you, Olave over Godwin and Foreman. Next question from Scott Harris. Start 2, half PPR, Leonard Fournette, Deion Jackson, or Kenyon Drake and Khalil Herbert. Start 2. Okay. So obviously we have been super disappointed with Leonard Fournette. The upside just hasn't been there. It's not a fantastic matchup against LA, but it is Leonard Fournette, and we know that the volume can be here for him. So I have a hard time sitting him in any matchup for guys that are a little bit more question marks or split backfield. So I lean towards going with Leonard Fournette is the first guy that you want to start. And then when we're looking at Deion Jackson, Kenyon Drake, and Khalil Herbert, obviously, we're looking at all, two guys with fantastic, or one guy with fantastic matchup in Khalil Herbert, one guy in Kenyon Drake with an increase in his backfield work as the sole guy back there. And then Deion Jackson, tough matchup, but sole backfield. And, you kind of got to lean towards, now granted, we've seen a lot of injuries that are happening over there in New England. So their defense might be a little bit more vulnerable this week. I feel a little bit more comfortable going with Deion Jackson over the other two, given that I know exactly what I can get out of him. And if we can get, the offense moving a little bit well in what should be a closer matchup with New England, I feel comfortable that we can get some goal line opportunities for him and possibly a few dump offs that could be productive as well. So I would go with Deion Jackson as the guy that I'm starting, and then Kenyon Drake as the secondary, and then Leonard Fournette as the other option as well. Next question from Joseph Kowalski. Earlier, Debro said Jacoby over Christian Kirk. Is that valid? It is valid. It is super, super close. I mean, those guys, it's right here because they're literally the same guy in terms of guys that are the wide receiver ones in their offense, are better options in PPR, have the eye of their quarterback, but obviously the run game for both teams have been aggressively strong recently, so it's hard for them to compete when the running back game is so strong. So yeah, it's super close. You could honestly kind of flip a coin and go with either one. Christian Kirk does have the better matchup, but Jacoby Myers has the better opportunity to have target share go solely in his way, so I kind of lean towards Jacoby Myers being the safer option to go with. Question from Peter. I'm terrible at pronunciations. Punkra, you know what? Question from Peter. St. Brown or Foreman or Mostert. I need to bench one, full PPR. I will ask the question again. I will get your name right, Dragon. But bench one. This one is tough, and it's going to have to be Mostert for you. And I hate to do it because it is a good matchup. We've talked about the Miami matchup with Chicago. Chicago has really struggled on the ground. But Amon-Ra St. Brown is the only option at wide receiver right now. We've got no TJ Hawkinson. We've got no Josh Reynolds. I mean, obviously, we've got Khalif Raymond that can get out there and do a little something, but that's really not something that can compete with Amon-Ra. So, unfortunately, it's tough to sit Mostert, but it's got to be St. Brown and Foreman, given the opportunities that those guys have in their backfield or in their offense and the ability for them to be that guy in their offense. Next question from Jan Letterhouse. Traded Mixon and Everett and got Key. Ooh, I like that trade. I love that trade. Traded Mixon and Everett and got King Henry. Yes. I have a lot of Derrick Henry this year, just because he's that dude. I think a lot of people wrote him off well before they should have. And yeah, that's a good trade right there. It's possible that Mixon turns things around. It's possible that offense kind of leans on the run a little bit more with Jamar Chase out. And obviously he does have pass catching upside. And I'm a big fan of, Everett as a, low end tight end one, but Derrick Henry is just such a dominating player. So you made the right move on that one. I like that trade for you. Next question from JK47. Need one for flex, half PPR, Garrett Wilson, Drake, Patterson, or Rondell Moore. This is a super hard question. Anytime you get Patterson in these questions today, I'm just like, ugh, because we know he's active. We haven't heard anything regarding limitations, which makes me uncomfortable because I like to hear some kind of like, give me an idea. Tell me like, hey, the snap count will be this range and this range, just so that I can know like what are your intentions. And we don't know that from Atlanta right now. So that makes me mildly uncomfortable. But man, it is tough to sit Cordero Patterson knowing that he is going to be active in this matchup against the LA Chargers. I've been gone back and forth on it all day. But as we've gotten closer to kickoff, I feel a lot more comfortable with Patterson. So I'm going to lean towards going with Patterson of that grouping. All right. Next question from Chris Hunter. Pick 2, Standard League. Dylan, Michael Carter, Gibson, and Pittman. So Pittman is one that I'm definitely going with. Again, he was very close to having a touchdown last week. So I think that touchdown equity is still there for him. Volume is still there for him. Yardage is a little lower than we would like in a standard league, but Pittman. And then when I'm looking at the other guys, even though I talked about this being more of an Antonio Gibson game for his pass catching upside with JD McKissick out, even though we're talking about a standard league, I still think that overall, when I'm looking at the other options between Dylan and Michael Carter, that Gibson can come on top out of those other two guys. So I lean towards going with Gibson and Pittman on this one. All right, guys, before I go on to the next questions, I am going to announce the jersey winner. Super excited to announce the winner of the autographed DK Metcalf Seattle Seahawks jersey, courtesy of pristineauction.com, is Daniel Hampshire. Please get in touch with our customer support agents at mailbag@fantasypros.com with your mailing address and proof of your subscription to the Fantasy Pros channel, and we will get that jersey shipped out to you. Again, the winner is Daniel Hampshire. Thank you so much, and congratulations, Daniel Hampshire. All right, guys, let's jump back to the questions. Where was I? I just did Chris Hunter, so let's move on to Fantasy Noob. Half PPR, sit 1, Gabe Davis, DJ Moore, Alan Lazard. So the way that I would approach that one is if you have, let's say your team is 6-2. You are very stable. You're feeling like you're going to make the playoffs. You're not trying to rock the boat, really. The direction that I would go is probably DJ Moore and Alan Lazard as the safer options. If you are looking for somebody who needs to get, if you're struggling, you need to make the playoffs, you're maybe got a losing record, you need a win desperately, I would go with Gabe Davis and DJ Moore as the guys with the high upside plays. So it just depends on what you're looking for. Really need a win? Gabe Davis, DJ Moore. You need to be steady and productive. DJ Moore and Alan Lazard. I find myself approaching Gabe Davis that way a lot just because he's such a high upside boom bust player. So looking at what your needs are on your team is really the safest way to go with him in terms of, are you looking for a floor play or are you looking for a high upside play? Next question from Jonathan Bryant. PPR, start 2, James Robinson, Rashad White, Tyler Higbee. You threw a little tight end wrench in there, and I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all because I talked about the fact that I don't feel super comfortable with James Robinson right now. So the guy that I would go with are Rashad White and Tyler Higbee. We were attacking that LA Rams, that Tampa Bay game, and hopefully that we get a little bit of back and forth between Tom Brady and Matt Stafford that creates opportunities for Rashad White and Tyler Higbee. Next question from Mike Scara. Swift, Patterson, or AJ Dillon, full PPR. Full PPR, I feel super uncomfortable with AJ Dillon for the obvious reasons. Now, unfortunately, it is a good matchup, so it's possible that this could be an upside situation for him. But I lean towards going with Swift and Patterson in full PPR as the guys that I feel more comfortable with. Next question from Brandon Earl. I am starting both. Interesting. I'm starting both Alan Lazard and Romeo Doubs in full PPR. Thoughts? I would not have been opposed to this like 2 hours ago. But when we got the news that Christian Watson was going to surprisingly play, and I was not expecting that. I was not expecting Christian Watson to play. It's not that Watson makes a massive dent in terms of target share. It's that just his presence does make a dip in Romeo Dobbs that makes me just a little bit less uncomfortable with him, even in full PPR. Just get a little bit concerned. When we saw the targets last week, they were still a little bit lower in a game where they should have been a little bit higher. And he was granted mildly productive with them, did get the touchdown. But with Alan Lazard in there, Christian Watson in there, again, I feel like this is a game where there's, Green Bay could easily just attack on the ground aggressively with Aaron Jones. I'm starting to feel a little bit more comfortable with Romeo Dobbs. So if you've got somebody else that you could go with Romeo Dobbs that can get you to around, double-digit fantasy points, I would probably lean that direction. Start Lazard and go away from Romeo Dobbs, given the fact that the Packers are getting a little bit healthier in their receiving core. Next question from Jose Cabaras. Evan Ingram or Tyler Conklin, full PPR. Tyler Conklin coming off that big game, 2 touchdowns with Zach Wilson, and rumor has it, Zach Wilson throwing for a lot higher volume that he had not seen for the majority of the season. And rumor has it that they're going to let him do it again. I saw that just before the live little, thing that kind of made me say, interesting, in terms of Garrett Wilson and Tyler Conklin, because with Breece Hall out for the year, he could benefit from Zach Wilson throwing for a little bit higher volume. It's a gamble. I feel much safer with Evan Ingram. Again, given the matchup, we talked about Jacksonville and the Raiders. Last week, the only bright spots in the offense were Travis Etienne and Evan Ingram, who was productive and had a touchdown and looks good doing it as well. And I feel very comfortable with him in this game, so I probably lean towards the safer option of being Evan Ingram. If you need to take a big gamble, a big swing at the fence, and see if maybe there's a high upside play that could possibly repeat from last week, you could go with Conklin, but I feel much more comfortable with Evan Ingram. Next question from Jorge Huerta. Khalif Raymond or DeAndre Carter, full PPR. Battle of the wide receiver twos that have not been wide receiver twos and are now stepping into being wide receiver twos. And I feel more comfortable with DeAndre Carter, honestly. Now, granted, he's coming off of an illness, and you kind of get a little bit concerned that maybe we've seen a couple of these players coming off of illnesses that haven't been super successful. But it sounded like he was good to go. He was cleared. And given the matchup with Atlanta, given the fact that he'll be technically the third option because Austin Eckler is the wide receiver one of that offense in theory. But I do feel more comfortable with going with DeAndre Carter over Khalif Raymond. Next question from Nick Moore. What's up? Full PPR, Brian Johnson or Tyler Algier? Brian Robinson, maybe? I feel more comfortable going with, I'm going to assume it's Brian Robinson. I feel more comfortable going with Brian Robinson over, I don't know, man. That's a tough one. Because obviously we talked about Cordero Patterson coming in and having, this role that could go back to exactly what Cordero Patterson was before. And we don't really have any information on how he's going to be integrated back and if his workload is going to be very aggressive or they're going to be a little bit limited. It is a fantastic matchup. I kind of feel more inclined to go with Brian Robinson for right now, just to be safe. Just to make sure that we are at least getting someone who has a known involvement in the game, just because we don't know a lot about Tyler Algier's role mixed in with Cordero Patterson. So the safer option is to go with Brian Robinson, oddly enough, even in full PPR compared to Tyler Algier. I don't like it. I would prefer to go with Tyler Algier, but I just don't know. I just don't have enough information to say that Tyler Algier's role is going to be very, specific right now. Next question from Joey Hacker. Would you guys start Gabe Davis or Juju Smith-Schuster? I feel more comfortable starting Juju. Juju has been a much steadier option. He's been far reliable. The upside is obviously higher for Gabe Davis, but Juju has shown some upside over the past couple of weeks, so I lean towards going with Juju. Next question from Dan G. Thanks for the advice. Start 2, PPR, Romeo Dobbs, Curtis Samuel, Cordero Patterson, and Evan Ingram. Help, please. Yes. For the reasons that I just talked about a little bit ago with Romeo Dobbs, I'm nixing him out. So then really, I'm going with Cordell Patterson, assuming that you need to, obviously, sure up a win here. It's a little bit risky, but it's a good matchup. It's tough to sit Cordell Patterson, even with an unknown workload in this matchup against LA. So you got to go with Cordell Patterson. And then between Curtis Samuel and Evan Ingram, Curtis Samuel is definitely the safer option in terms of his floor. So go with Curtis Samuel and Cordell Patterson. Next question from Ship Life 22, Gino or Fields. That's the first part. Gino or Fields. That one's an easy one for me. It's Justin Fields. Now, granted, this could be a good situation for Gino. Obviously, their first meeting between Seattle and Arizona was not the meeting that we expected it to be. The fantasy points did not flow as well out of that one. Highly disappointing. So it could be a nice, little reverse situation for both teams there. But I really like Justin Fields this week, given the matchup. So I would lean towards going with Justin Fields over Geno Smith. And then Josh Palmer versus Michael Pittman Jr. Honestly, I would go with Josh Palmer over Michael Pittman Jr. It pains me to say it, but again, I got to go with the matchup. I got to go with the matchup here that we have seen over and over again. Wide receivers just beat up the Atlanta secondary. So it's got to be Palmer for me, even though I do still really like Pittman. Next question from Trace Hartzell. Kenneth Walker or Dameon Pierce long-term in full PPR? Long-term in full PPR, I would still prefer Kenneth Walker. Although at this point, Dameon Pierce is he is matchup proof, because they have shown that regardless of what happens, he is going to run the ball aggressively. So he's pretty much a lock for double-digit fantasy points. The only problem is that his pass catching is just inconsistent. If we could just get some level of consistency out of him, that would be fantastic. But it's Kenneth Walker for me who's going to be the long-term better option over Dameon Pierce. Next question from Jordan Windsor. Half PPR, Jawan Johnson or Logan Thomas? Go with Logan Thomas. Again, Logan Thomas has been a little bit disappointing. He's not been the guy that we have seen in previous years when he's been healthy. But Jawan Johnson is obviously a big risk as well. I would lean towards going with the safer option of Logan Thomas. Next question from Tyrone Stevens. Good afternoon. PPR, full PPR, Isaiah Likely or TJ Hawkinson? This one is an interesting one because, we were hearing a lot of stuff out of Minnesota that TJ Hawkinson is going to be a full go, no limitations, all that good stuff. And that sounds all fine and dandy, but you do have to kind of wonder, it's first game with that offense. How much of a full go can you be in a full go? So we'll see. The safer option for me is just to go ahead and go with Isaiah Likely over TJ Hawkinson. Again, less competition from weapons, more upside, in my opinion, and more stability in the offense in terms of known usage, in my opinion. Next question from Kroll, the Warrior Princess, whose username I always love. Hi, Tara. Happy Sunday to you. PPR Flex, Zay Jones, Darnell Mooney, Alec Pierce, Isaiah Likely. We'll go with Isaiah Likely again. Next question from Dario Acosta. Half PPR, Lazard or Wilson? I'm still going with Lazard, although I did talk about that I do have a little bit more faith in Wilson moving forward because of the potential uptick in opportunity and pass volume from Zach Wilson. I just need to see it in one more game before I feel solidified as an easy flex weekly option. So go with Lazard. Next question from Sean McDonough. Fournette or Deion Jackson full PPR? I would still go with Fournette in full PPR. Fournette full PPR over Deion Jackson. Let's see how many more we can get in here. Philip Payek, start Aaron Rodgers or Justin Fields? I would start Justin Fields, although I do like Aaron Rodgers. Your opponent has Aaron Jones. Does that matter? It does a little bit. You can hope for maybe this is an aggressive Aaron Jones game. Play the upside and go with Justin Fields and hope that the matchup plays out in your favor. If you do desperately need a win this week, I think that script could work out for you. Justin Fields over Aaron Rodgers for you, with your opponent having Aaron Jones. Next question from Mike Yu. Hola. Half PPR, one tight end, one flex, TJ Hawkinson, Robert Tonyan, Brian Robinson, Isaiah Pacheco, Justin Herbert. Feel better. Thank you. I always hope I feel better. I'm terrible colds all the time. I would go with I would go with Robert Tonyan over TJ Hawkinson. A good matchup for him. And then the running back that I would go with is probably going to be Khalil Herbert. Split backfield, but again, still better situation, better matchup, higher upside. And then one last question from Heikel 86, non PPR, Fields or Lawrence? Definitely going with Fields again. Really like Justin Fields this week, guys. Fantastic matchup for Miami. It is 1 p.m. Absolutely crazy. We've been here for an hour. Fantastic questions from everybody. Always appreciate everybody showing up. And good luck to every single one of you in your lineups this week. And make sure that you're following Fantasy Pros. Make sure that you like the live and tag me on Twitter. Let me know how your day went. Let me know